3, 2. Oh my God.
Yo, what's up?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the program.
The Airtime Podcast is presented by Van Shoes since 1966.
There's nothing fake about it. Have something to believe in and be yourself. You know what I'm saying?
All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I took a 1-week hiatus there because I got married. It was a great wedding. My dog almost died, but that's a story for another time. We're gonna introduce today's guest, a close friend of mine, somebody that I like ripping around the hill with, and somebody who has kind of created his own lane. Jack of all trades, but specifically when it comes to filming, editing, that whole kind of genre, he hits it out of the park. And Mark Mcmorris is private filmer, you could say. Also works for a lot of companies like, I don't know, Red Bull, Burton. The list goes on. He's been in the game for a long time. You've probably seen him at any major event. The one and only Russell Chai joins me on the show. How you doing, boss?
Hello, Jody. We're doing great.
Hell yeah, brother. What'd you get up to today?
What did I do today? I went to the gym, and that's about it.
That's a big day.
I didn't see you there, though.
I haven't been going anymore. I've been going just to Meadow Park alone because my schedule is too all over the place with the wedding and stuff like that. So just the 3 days a week at the exact hours that work, I couldn't swing it.
I thought no, ever since the wedding you've fallen off. You got good looking for the wedding and then you stopped.
There is some truth to that. I went to Winnipeg. And as a lot of people know who are listening to this, Winnipeg's in the middle of Canada here, and they like a lot of butter there, a lot of calories. I gained 5 pounds when I went home, just crushing beers, bread, butter, pierogies. And I have been going to the gym. I've already went to the gym 3 days. The season is upon us. It's almost September, and I do want to have a great season. So I'm trying my best. Again, you can probably see around my jawline that's dissipating a little bit right now, but, you know, whatever. It is what it is.
Are you still on the incline treadmill?
Yeah. I don't know. I saw it on TikTok. I heard it was the best way to burn calories. You know, you go all the way on the incline on the walker, and then you turn it up to about 4 or 5, so it's just before a jog, and you go 30 straight. I always like to turbo boost it for a bit because this one guy that I'm following, who I believe, because I'm following him, turns up the speed really fast, and he does these like speed bursts to get your heart really going a bunch of times. Apparently it burns the fat. I don't know. Also probably diet's a big thing, so I don't know.
I don't know. I might try that next time.
All right, well, good luck with that. You did go to Mount Hood this summer.
I did.
How was Mount Hood?
Dude, it was awesome. I love going to Mount Hood. I didn't go last summer, so it was nice to go back. Again, I think I went 2 summers ago, maybe 3 actually. But I always like it there. It's always warm weather, great crew. Trying to think, is there anything notable that happened there?
Yeah, who was standout? Who did you go with?
I went with the Burton crew. So we had Raibu, Mikey C, Takaru, Maria, Rob Rothler, Luke Winkleman, and Grace Warner. Don't think I'm forgetting anyone. Which was an insane crew. All pretty chill people to be around. Really fun people to be around, but we had a great time. Raibu started making jokes actually recently.
Raibu won the Airtime Canadian Open this year. And now he's making jokes. Look at him go.
Making jokes because Raibu was always a funny guy because he's just as a funny guy, but now he's making jokes and now he's even funnier.
I mean, there's always something about the Japanese homie that comes over that doesn't really speak the language yet, and there's that language barrier, and they've always been comical. I think since the beginning of time, the Japanese homie that's enrolled in the crew is like the go-to comedian. At least so I've heard.
No, that's him. But now he's like, oh, I am the comedian, but now I'm actually gonna like say funny stuff.
Like, do you remember any of the jokes he said?
I don't know if we can do this one, but
might have. Why is it? Were we gonna get canceled here?
Well, his new joke was he started drinking tequila, and then he would drink like a tequila soda, and then look up and be like. But it's obviously not to do with the. It's.
I might beep that out, but like, fuck, that was good.
I'm not trying to get him in trouble. It was actually just super funny.
Oh, that's incredible. Who is standing out there amongst maybe not even the Burton crew? Who is riding at Hood this summer that you were like, damn, homie's kind of killing it this year?
Oh, I'm trying to think. I mean, we saw Gabe Ferg out there. I love watching Gabe Ferg snowboard.
Me too. Big Gabe Ferg.
He doesn't have to do anything. He just rolls around. He did a 5.0 on the coping in the half pipe, going super fast, and I was like, that was the sickest thing I've seen.
I mean, a 5.0 ripping down the half pipe is kind of an awesome trick. Like, did he get it pretty high, like wheelie style?
Dude, he just did it like if you were doing it on a skateboard and just doing like a front side grind and just like riding by. It was also hilarious because he rolled up solo. I was in the parking lot. He was like, yo, dudes. And I was like, oh, Gabe, what's going on? He was like, yeah, I'm just coming to cruise. I was like, yeah, who are you meeting? He's like, I'm just out here like Steven Glansberg. And I was like, that's so sick. He just rolled up and then he was like, yeah, what's up, guys? And we just like, then we all went riding together.
Good pick. How'd Mikey C do?
Oh, Mikey C is great. He's always doing great, though.
Yeah, I know. He's a standout.
He's a smooth rider.
Let's go Maria Thompson. You know, that's a big rebound. She's overcoming a knee injury, if my memory serves me correct.
Yeah, I think that was actually the first time Maria was really like doing tricks. Because I feel like, at the end of the season, like she was riding the park a little bit, but I don't think she was really like getting into it. And then, that trip, it was sick. On the last day, it was just me and her went up, and then she did that,
switch front board on the...
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was dope.
Switch front board, and then she did a back lip to switch, then a switch front board.
Yeah, that's what it was. And that's a banging line.
Yeah, and that was sick. Yeah, and she was super psyched.
Maria Thompson has been blowing my mind for a long time. Before she was on Burton and she was just rolling the park, the way she would get into switch front nose presses, every time she would do it, she'd be going so fast. And the commitment would be like similar to like Tommy G or like Scott Brown, like full, like no tap, like switch front nose press the kink and like leaning into it.
I love watching Maria ride.
You know what my least favorite thing about going to Mount Hood is?
What's your least favorite thing?
Well, it's not my least favorite thing, but I think it would be my least favorite thing if I was you. So you're a filmer and you go to Mount Hood. And, you know, you're there for Burton week. And they're like, hey, we got this great idea. We're going to get you to film dodgeball again. Does filming dodgeball for a filmer that goes to Hood, like, are you like, oh, it's the day I got to go film dodgeball and get the dodgeball clips? Like, that's got to be kind of busted. Like,
I did do that, but I don't think.
I know you have to.
I don't think the clips went anywhere because no one got hit in the face. If you get someone getting hit in the face, it's like the sickest clip of all time. But if you don't, then you're like, I just did that for no reason.
Have you gotten that clip before?
Not this time, but it might have been longer than that. It might have been like 3 years ago. Ben Ferg hit some little girl but he wasn't aiming for her. It's like the shot's like from like behind her, and like you see his face, and he's like winding up, and he riffs one, and I think it kind of the ball. You know, sometimes those balls just kind of like curve the wrong way, and just hit the girl so hard in the face, and it's pretty funny. You could tell he didn't mean to do it though. You know, he's like, oh shit.
Oh, of course he didn't mean to do it unless he's a psycho. Like poor young girl at camp gets hit in the face by Burton pro rider Ben Ferguson with a knuckleball to the face. Brutal. What's the best summer park for kids to go?
Well, there's not one here anymore, so don't come here. No, it's probably there honestly, because there is Copper too, but I feel like the Hood setup. Maybe the incline is like less steep. Copper's is like a little bit. It's not super steep, but it's enough that it's like you got to break between everything.
Better than New Zealand and Australia.
Oh, okay. If you can go Southern Hemisphere, I would suggest like going to Australia, New Zealand for sure.
Which one is better for summer boarding, or I guess
think out of
winter boarding?
Out of weather consistency, Australia probably. I've only done New Zealand once, but I've heard that it can be pretty iffy with wet weather.
Like socked in, kind of shitty vibes, or what?
Yeah, like kind of like here.
I've heard stories from, I don't remember who, maybe like Jeff Patterson, who used to work there, and a lot of Canadian boarders used to go down to the Southern Hemisphere like consistently that weren't like mega pro.
I think everyone used to go to Snow Park.
Yeah, because it was Snow Park with Style Wars.
Yeah, everyone got all fired up and going to Snow Park, and then I never got to go.
It kind of dissipated. I remember Torstein kind of blowing up there. That's
He
where
did, and then Ken Block was launching beside him.
the Eddie Wall shots and stuff like that.
Yeah, was that Ken? Was it Eddie Wall? Was that Torstein?
I want to say Torstein has one and Eddie Wall has one.
Okay,
I think
yeah.
Torstein has one like that's a cover, and it's
It's like a
front
3 jump
seven
line.
tail.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like Eddie has one where it's just like a back one or something. I think both of them were there for that shoot.
That's like the sickest thing ever. They just had a
I
rally
was just
car.
about to say that's the worst thing ever.
No, but it's the sickest thing in terms of the resort just being like, yeah, you can just take the rally car up there. Like, sure. I don't know who was telling me stories about it, but I think there was just like, it wasn't like they blocked off a huge, it's like obviously the jump line is blocked off, but like just down low, they're just like people cruising around, you know?
I need to like change my outlook on that whole thing because Ken Block is the biggest fucking legend ever, who had a way bigger impact on snowboarding as a whole than a lot of people probably realize, from Blunt Magazine to DC to everything. That guy gave so many people in our industry a huge opportunity. I mean, the ripple effect is definitely profound there. But it's not that bad. It's just rally car racing and snowboarding. It's awesome. I'm gonna change my opinion. It's fucking cool. I think that I was reflecting on my old, I opened up my memory catalog in my brain there, and I just went to like what I thought about before. And I remember seeing that cover being like, why the fuck is there a rally car racer like with Torstein? Like, I just want to see Torstein. You know what I mean?
No, totally. Yeah, no.
But now that I'm older, you're right. Throw the rally car racer in there.
I'm more on the side of just the resort, just literally not caring. Like now like even if you think about in Whistler, like it's hard for them to do a shoot here now. They did one recently this spring, but do you remember like when there used to be a shoot here like in the spring? It was like every weekend there was like,
oh, the sandbox shoots, whiteout shoots. Like we did a Transworld hip shoot with like Arthur and Kazu one year.
Yeah.
Like that used to pop off like every year. All the ski, like Matchstick, everybody used to do them.
and now there's not. I think they do like one spring shoot a year, which is like for the resort. It's not for like a production or like a movie company that wants to do that.
Did you attend that one on the mountain?
I want to say I was away.
I mean, Mark Sollers hit that thing, which was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, he did a sick ass back one,
Yeah.
didn't he? Yeah.
He did a front 5 cab. I think he did like all of his tricks.
He showed them why he's Mark Shoulders.
Yeah, totally. He continues to be one of the best. Definitely one of the best with pop, I always say. COP. That's where you grew up, Calgary? That's your roots?
That's my roots.
Let's go COP. How was it growing up, Calgary? How did COP shape your snowboarding, your taste, your approach to filming?
COP is an interesting place to grow up because it's like it's just a hill. Calgary's weather, it's pretty icy most of the time. A lot of rails. The jumps, when I was growing up, now the jump line there I think is actually kind of sick because I think they get like proper people to come build it, and same with the pipe. When I was growing up, it was like they were kind of little crazy. I didn't grow up the best jumper. I was actually kind of scared of jumps. That's hence why I kind of stuck to the rails. Then I rode pipe a lot too, though, which is super weird. So it's a kind of a weird combo of like liking rails and then like kind of liking pipe, but like not really like liking jumps too much. That's more just because I was so bad at jumps.
This is a good transition for us right now because we have a Patreon question from none other than one of your close friends who you filmed with a lot, and somebody who's been on the podcast before. And thanks for being a Patreon member, Craig McMorris. Why? This one's kind of funny. He says, "Why didn't you compete for the Canadian halfpipe team? You were so good. You had a dope back 9." Craig McMorris.
Because I was not that good.
Could you back 9?
I landed a back 9 twice.
In the pipe?
Yeah. But then I like couldn't really front 9. Like I think I've done like a shitty front 7 to like, reverted around at the bottom.
To put it in context for people that are watching or listening, most likely everybody that's listening has had a filmer try to film them with a GoPro or a camera or something. Most likely that filmer was not doing back nines in the half pipe ever. Like there's a vast majority of filmers like got pretty good, either got billied or just have always been the filmer. But for the filmer to be lacing back nines in the pipe, like I've never done a back nine. I've never done a back seven in the pipe.
I wouldn't say lacing though. I did it. I landed it twice.
Just say that you laced it, man. You did. Do you have footage of that?
No, that's kind of a sad thing. I never got. No, never got in a video. But that was also when you're just a kid cruising around, like you don't like.
Different time.
Yeah, I was never like I could do that, but I wasn't that necessarily great at the pipe though.
Did you ever want to be pro?
Yeah, that was always the dream. But then you get to like after high school, and you kind of like, oh fuck, this is actually like not that easy. I think that's kind of why I fell into filming, because like it was kind of a way to still do the snowboard thing and like get to snowboard and travel with your friends and stuff, while also not going down going pro avenue, because I just don't think I had it in me. Yeah,
that's a self-fulfilling belief that you probably had on yourself. It was you were like 16 doing a back nine in the half pipe, but you probably had this like, well, I can't make it because I'm 17.
But then I could barely do like a cab 7.
Yeah, but then there's Rasman and Robin Van Gin. They started getting into jumping and snowboarding, like, and actually doing tricks in their like 20s. Like Rasman was just like ripping around the hill. So when you were like doing back nines in the half pipe at 16, being like, I don't think I have what it takes, time to wrap it up. Little did you know, you were probably one of the best snowboarders in Canada. Like at 16, like 17 years old, like COP has birthed some of the best snowboarders ever. Maybe we can touch on that.
Yeah,
COP, who are the COP legends and goats that you were surrounded by that made you feel like your back nine was insignificant?
Dude, there was a lot. I mean, Craven, COP, Jed, Anderson, obviously. There's a whole Canadian Tech Nine crew. Dwayne Weeb, Ryan Hall. Who am I missing?
Todd Williams,
yeah. I mean, there was a lot of people doing it like when we were young, like coming out of Calgary, that were like good for inspo and good for, yeah, just kind of showing us the way.
You listed 5 there. There's probably 5 others that.
Oh, Nash, Lajeunesse.
Kale Hill. Yeah,
Kale, yeah. There was a good list of people.
Who was your favorite then?
I mean, I think for most of us, I think Jed was like the biggest inspiration, because he definitely was like, at that time too, he was like in all the sickest movies. He had Ender in like every video part, or like for a couple of movies in a row, I feel like he had Ender in all of them. He was kind of like this close, like similar age, So I feel like for a lot of us, that was like, he was like the inspo, and the way he rides is just like the best.
Since Jed started filming, whenever he was like full bore into it, in the thick of it, which has been since he was pretty much on Forum, he's always been at the forefront of like style and progression and innovation.
If you went to COP, it was like basically whatever he did just trickled down to what everyone did.
Did you look like a mini Jet at one point?
Ish. I never really did the hat under the helmet thing. Like
the TJ Schneider look or
yeah,
whatever?
I've never done I don't think I've ever really done that. I mean, I haven't not done it, but it wasn't like a thing that I would like, that's how I kind of rolled up every day, I'm sure I've probably like had a day where I tried it out and it was like, it's not for me.
Did you ever watch the Snowboard Realms? Sorry.
I did watch the Snowboard Realms. I don't remember a lot of them. But
sorry for interrupting. I just had
to. Did. Are they still online?
I think there's one. I actually watched it like not too long ago because I did a podcast with Andrew Burns.
Oh.
And the Capita affiliation dragged me down this wormhole, and I was watching the Snowboard Realms, and I was like, I totally forgot about those. Like way ahead of its time.
It was too ahead of its time. That was where I learned that you got to break down your jumps in the streets, or else they might cap your favorite rail. Because he said it. TJ Schneider said it. He was breaking down his jumps. He's like, dude, if you don't break down your jumps, the city's gonna be like, dude, there's a jump here. It's dangerous, and they're gonna cap your favorite rail. But no, yeah, it was. Yeah, Jed was like, it was so funny. It was like anything he did, it was like pretty much everyone in Calgary would just then do. which was probably super annoying for him.
I wonder. It's probably a little bit flattering, but
it'd be so annoying to like do something and then you're kind of like, yeah, I'm onto something, and then a couple months later you like go to like, it's not like you went to COP every day, you know, it's like you like kind of show up and you're like, oh, it's like sick, Jed's here. Or just like roll up and then everyone's all of a sudden just like a mini version of you.
Who do you think's moving the needle like that right now?
Oh, I feel like there's not one person right now that's just super like out there doing something that everyone's kind of like, I feel like it's just like a general trend.
Who's that one girl who's blowing up right now? Younger girl, contest girl. I feel like a lot of people are. She's like a doppelganger of Dusty, and they're both close
Mia?
friends. Mia. I feel like there's a lot of girls that are trying to look like Mia right now.
There might be
With
that.
her and Zoe, but with a little bit of like, if you just threw them together in like a blender and threw like Slipknot in it. And like Korn, Freak on a Leash.
Okay, I gotta take my sweater off. This is insane.
Sorry, we make him hot. Russ Chai, he's wearing our deck crew hoodie. What size are you wearing there? Is that
This
the
is
large?
a large.
This is a large. How tall are you?
I'm 6 feet.
See, I wear a large and I'm 5'9", but I like the fit to be a bit bigger. So
I'm also a skinny guy though.
I'm short and stocky.
So either you're tallish and skinny or you're short and stocky.
Thank you for wearing that. I forced him to do that.
He didn't force me. I actually like the fit of that.
Let's talk about Kale and Nash for a second. Did you ever see them ride the park at COP and be like, these two are better than everybody in the world?
Yeah, Kale's like done stuff like, I don't know when that would have been, like mid to late 2010s, where I was like, dude, I was like even today, if Kale did some of the stuff, you'd be like, that was insane. He was like the first person I really saw like blunting a box, you know, like but like using it as on the side,
like pushing into it.
Yeah, but then like really, I mean, also at the time there, everyone just like was riding the softest board possible. So like, but he would do stuff where his board would be like bent in like a 90 degree almost, you know what I mean? But like on the side still like balancing.
Like a nose blunt on a skateboard.
Yeah. But it
like
actually
no
looked like a skateboard, like he was on a skateboard. Like, and then I'm trying to think. And then Nash I remember Nash going through some weird phase where he just decided he was regular. Or was just like, he's like, I've been goofing my entire life. I'm just gonna like go the other way. So he just set his board up regular. And then he got so good at riding regular that he like could just go either way. And there wasn't like, for him, it wasn't like, yeah, I'm more comfortable this way. Just like would just do tricks and be like, I don't know, I'm just gonna do the trick whatever way I feel like doing it.
Do you remember that? Like this clip was overlooked. He does, in one of his sandbox parts, he does a switch backside 50-50 on a huge, tall flat bar, switch back 3 out.
Was that not his ender?
Yeah, I think it was. Super high flat bar. And you're like, switch 50 on like a high, weird rail?
Yeah, that was, and it was into like a...
Like he flies off into like a big open field.
I feel like he could just do stuff like that. Which was like, and you weren't really, people weren't really like doing it. They're like, oh yeah, I'm going to do the big thing, but just do it switch. Especially like that, like a switch 50 back 3, you know what I mean?
Who kind of has a Kale and Nash skill these days and vibe? Like, don't give a fuck, more talented than everybody.
In a sense, for me, maybe Zeb Powell. In like, maybe not necessarily as tech on the rails, but just like Zeb's quote, he said this to Pat Dodge one time, because before Knucklehuck and X Games, I think Pat was like, well, do you know what you're going to do? And Zeb's like, I'm just going to like go off this way and I'll figure it out in the air. And then he was like, kind of like, what do you mean? And Zeb's like, oh, I just know that like, depending on how I'm feeling in the air, I just got to do this or that. And I'll like land back on my feet either which way. So he's not really coming into it being like, yeah, this is my plan. He's just like, I just go this direction and then I can get to my feet somehow.
I got no plan.
That's why he rarely does. I feel like if you watch him ride, he's not doing the same thing over like twice. He just kind of like goes off and then just figures it out.
He's fully doing whatever the fuck he wants at all times. I'm like, where are you coming up with this shit?
No, 100%. He's just like unapologetically himself. He just like does whatever he feels like because he's just so like, I don't really care. I'm just going to do it. That's why everyone like loves watching him, because it's just hilarious. It's just like insanely talented and then just hilarious too, in the sense of like some of the stuff he does. You're like, I don't know like how you even thought of that.
Let's switch over here to 8 questions presented by Baldface to get to know you here. These are kind of just bullet point, quick. We got to be quick here. Okay.
Is there a winner for these questions? Do I get to go to Baldface if I?
Yeah, there is a winner. If you win this, you get a free trip to Baldface for a week. Jeff Pinciero, way to go! You signed up for that. Thanks for having Russ at the lodge. No, you don't get anything. But have you been to Baldface before?
I have once, and it was. That was actually a sick trip. It was Burton had just rented it out it was after the Olympics. It was the last week of Baldface for that season. Probably one of the best trips of my life. Oh, and I turned 30 that trip.
You turned 30. Did you get good snow?
The day we were going there, it like snowed a bunch, and then it fully reset for our session. So we kind of just got the whole thing to ourselves and could like ride whatever we wanted, and then we just had a bunch of drinks.
Who racked up the biggest bar tab?
I don't remember, but I just remember that it was like the second day there, and then Jeff was like, he's like, you guys are the last ones here. We got a bunch of drinks, and we got a bunch of fireworks, and we got to finish all the drinks and use all the fireworks.
Nice. Favorite artist at 16 years old, Russell Chai.
Oh, it's 16.
Let's say, like, I'm just trying to get to know you before, snowboarding just ruined your life.
Oh, like musically?
Music.
That might have been when I was in like a metal phase. I might have actually been listening to like Slipknot at that age.
I loved Slipknot, dude.
Dude, I had a weird
poster.
I had a weird music thing. I didn't like listen to music until I got a iPod for like iPod mini for Christmas. Cuz my parents are like super like Christian.
Okay.
So we only listened to when I was in the car just to like Christian radio. So I only knew that kind of music.
Christian.
It wasn't until I got an iPod that I was like, oh wait, I can just like choose what goes on here. And then it was like, I feel like at that age, my friend, if I'm got the right timeline right, I would just listen to what my friends listened to, and I had like a bunch of like crazy metalhead friends at that point in my life, I think.
Wait and Bleed by Slipknot was like, and this other song called Sick. Like, dude. Oh my God, those songs are so good, dude. You throw them on now, and I'm still like, I fuck with this song. Like, Freak on a Leash by Korn is just like, anytime anyone puts it on, I'm like, this is timeless. First concert you ever went to?
Probably around the same time. It was a Stone Sour concert.
I don't see. There's a band I don't know.
That was the two dudes from Slipknot had another band that they're in.
Damn. See?
Also like this. In that same realm. But it was like also an Evanescence concert. It was like those two at the same, like, the
yeah, what was Evanescence? They had like that one really.
It's the one song. I don't even remember how it goes right now.
But it's super cringe, right? It's like
hilarious to use for like meme stuff.
Yeah, totally. Okay.
But
so because your parents are super Christian and you're going to these, were they like, yeah, sure, experiment with that stuff, or were they bummed when you're like, I'm going to a Stone Sour concert?
No, because they never asked me too many details of like what. I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends and we're gonna go to a concert. They'd be like, oh, okay. So even though my parents were like very, straight edge, I guess you could put it, it's like they never were like want to know my every move,
I kind of feel like that's good parenting.
I think it
you figure it out yourself.
I think it made it so I was maybe more responsible on my own, because I just could kind of be like, they weren't telling me what to do, but I'd have to figure it out for myself to be like, I think this is like maybe not that chill, do anything too crazy.
Yeah, no, when things would get like turned up too much, you know what I mean? With your friend group, and some people start doing some wild shit, and you're kind of just like, fuck, like, I should probably not be doing this.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe that's from not having people, because it's always like the friends you had that like had the crazy parents that like were like, you need to text me like every 5 minutes. I need to know what you're doing. Those are the ones that kind of go nuts.
Yeah, like my parents are too annoying that I'm just like, fuck them. Like, I'm staying out anyway.
Yeah.
Favorite subject in school?
I mean, I don't know my favorite subject, but I mean, the easiest one was math.
The easiest?
Yeah, well, like, look at me.
What does that mean?
I can make that joke.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you can.
But no, that was what was definitely like the least stressful.
7 times 9.
Oh. Hold on, there's a trick for this.
You said you were good at math.
Well, I haven't done it in a long time.
7 times 9. You should be able
63.
to look at your hand.
No, do you not know this one?
Yeah, everything comes up to 9.
Well, if it's a multiplied times 9, you just.
I just thought you would be able to get that straight off the dome.
Well, no, I haven't used math in years. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Dude, you suck at math. What's
I don't want to play this game anymore.
Yeah, totally. Okay. What's 63 divided by 2?
What do you mean? You can't. Well, it'd be it's good. We're gonna get a 0.5 here. What was the numbers again?
63 divided by 2.
That'd be 31.5.
Nice job. Childhood hero.
I'm trying to think. If there
Did anybody inspire you ever?
was it you that was telling me that you thought that Terry Fox was a dick?
I heard from my school teacher one time. We actually have a little bit of an audience here, so I'm not trying to burn no bridges because maybe somebody's related to this guy or whatever. But my teacher was just like, I met Terry Fox, and Terry Fox was a dick. So I always grew up thinking Terry Fox was a dick.
I was just about to say Terry Fox kind of as a joke. So I was going to be like, yeah, he was the most inspiring Canadian as a kid. Everyone learned that Terry Fox was like this crazy guy that was just running across Canada. And then I was like, wait, actually, I'm pretty sure Jody told me he was a dick one time.
I did tell you that story, but we're not trying to spread that. That's pretty, take that with a grain of salt, everybody. Yeah. I'm assuming Terry Fox is a complete legend.
What the fuck is going on in here, Jody?
Why, is it hot?
Yeah.
I just got a little bit warm myself, probably because I got stressed out because you just told everybody I hate Terry Fox. A Canadian icon, Russ, on a Canadian podcast. How could you do that to me? What was your first job?
Oh, my first job. I worked in a restaurant. I worked in the restaurant portion of an old folks home.
Nice. Did you meet an old person that you got along with great?
It was just for like a month or two in the summer. So like not, I mean, you would see the same people around. It was just like it was a weird job.
Sounds like a little bit of a weird job.
You're kind of serving them, but because they in the old folks home, they're not paying, like they have like an account. So it's like, I don't think you like make tips or you didn't like make tips. You just like
gave them their food and
yeah, you just like rang it in and gave them their food. And then, but the whole point of like being a server was to get tips to make money. So I actually think it was a pretty bad job, honestly.
I think when you have a job where you are making food and serving food to old people at an old folks home, you have to be the type of person that looks past the tips and is like, these people are going to pass away from the face of the earth soon, and I should like brighten their day.
I think the only reason to work there is because
I'm not the type of person, Russ. I don't want to do that, but that's the person who needs that job.
Well, I don't know how old I would have been at this time. This was definitely like still like maybe early high school, but it was just because a friend, like a skateboard friend, like I don't know how his
He had ties.
I think his like family helped run it or something. I don't remember exactly how the scenario was, but like a couple skateboard friends all just like got jobs there because it was just like he was just like, you guys can just come, like I'll get you guys jobs.
Didn't last long. 3 months in, new job. What was your second job? It's not a question, but now I'm curious.
There was a point in time where I was working for a moving company. Similar scenario. A snowboard friend had just gotten a couple of us jobs. But yeah, that was another job that I was probably not the most. I wasn't suited for.
You didn't have the best job through us.
No, I didn't.
First car.
It was a 95 Honda Civic hatchback.
Oh, dope car.
Dude, it was kind of the sickest. I kind of wish I had one now.
What color? Green?
Oh, it was all white.
Oh,
it was hilarious.
Oh shit, dude.
Didn't have power steering, but it was like, I feel like cars have just gotten bigger. Like just like the base size of a car is bigger nowadays. Because that thing was like not much bigger than a smart car. You could park it anywhere.
First snowboard movie you ever watched?
We just talked about this. I think Video Gangs was the first one I think that was the first one I watched. That's the first one I physically had a copy of.
Whose part in Video Gangs do you remember standing out?
Probably Eddie Walls. Because he had that Fisher Spooner song.
Yeah, correct.
And then the first couple clips are just him like at like a city rail jam, I think. But then doesn't he hurt himself too? Doesn't he only get like half part done and then he?
Well, he does that board slide on that sea kink ledge and he shattered his kneecap.
Yeah, riding out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely his part. It was for sure his part that was like the most probably memorable for me.
That part was really good. Eddie Wall's part in that, especially if you were into like rails. That whole video was good.
That was a good video. Like, it's hard. It's crazy because that was like the first one I had, and then I didn't really. You kind of just had the best video for a couple years.
Yeah, that one was pretty hard to beat. You have like Andreas Wigg had a crazy part in that, or was that Derelictica? That might have been. I might be confusing
Derelictica was a really good.
Sorry, Promo Copy. I'm confusing Promo Copy with Video Gangs. Laurie had my favorite part in Video Gangs.
He also had a good part in Derelictica.
Yeah.
As well as Andreas Wigg.
Yes. Is that where he puts the eyepiece on? You know, he puts the little speckly eyepiece on, and he's like, "I am a robot because I'm so good." Because nobody was that good.
No,
back then.
I don't think he did that in that
so
movie.
Much better than everybody.
But he did do a bunch of sick tricks in that movie.
No, in one of those movies, he puts on that like eyepiece, and it makes everything like it is like a
Video
game.
Gangs. Andreas Wigg is the start when he's arm wrestling a guy and he breaks his arm.
Oh, correct.
That's what. Yeah. Derelictica was different, but he also had a really good part. But that Derelictica was a couple years later.
I'm butchering this. I'm so sorry for anybody who's listening to this. But anyways, I will say that Laurie's part in Video Gangs was my favorite, and Eddie Wall's part in Video Gangs was also incredible.
But there was no JP because he shattered his jaw that year.
I think JP was very close with Sean Kearns, and Kearns was making Shakedown because JP and Jeremy, or maybe Jeremy was riding for Burton at the time, but JP was supposed to be in Video Gangs, but he didn't want to. He was like, "I fuck with Kearns. We're doing this project." From what I remember.
Oh, you might be more tapped in. I thought it was because he like hurt himself.
Well, he did break his jaw filming for Shakedown, because JP, it's like that's a Mac Dog movie, but Video Gangs is the forum movie.
Yeah.
And JP was one of the biggest, if not the biggest, forum rider at that point. So for JP to not be in Video Gangs was crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was the year that Jeremy went over to Burton or not, but anyways, Shakedown was a great movie too. Okay. I feel like a big part of your life and a big part of these individuals' life was the Weekenders. Break down what the Weekenders was, who was in the crew, how was it to babysit those people?
So, the crew was myself, Darcy Sharp, Mikey C, Cicerelli, and Tyler Nicholson. It kind of all started. I mean, that kind of all started just how I kind of started filming. I've been living here for maybe a year or two. Didn't really know what I was doing. Had some more kind of shitty jobs. I worked at Mongoli Grill.
That's not a shitty job. Brian McClatchy worked there. E-Man worked there. Matt Belzo worked there. Legendary place. Great job.
Legendary place. It's not a great. It's really. It's not good. I mean, I love it. You know, thank you guys for hiring me. If anyone from management
Chris
is watching,
Miron.
yeah. No, it's Chris Miron actually is a legend.
And Andrea.
But,
I think those are the two people that own it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did Paramount Painting for summer
With Dave Dowling.
Yep.
Legend.
And I worked at Roland's as well. Anyways, I did a couple random kitchen and painting jobs, and then I kind of randomly just got a camera. And just like I went up one day, the national team was here. I knew Chris Wicki from he was the national team coach. I knew him from Calgary, and I just was like, "Hey Chris, is that jump camp going on today?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Do you care if I come shoot it?" And he was like, "Yeah, like come do your thing." So I cruised up with the new camera I'd bought and just was like messing around. And then Darcy had just hit me up like a couple days later, and was just like, classic Darcy, just goes, "Hey." I was like, "Hey dude, what's going on?" He was like, I think he said something super weird. He was like, "I'm sussing you out." This is all on Facebook Messenger too. Like I didn't know Darcy very well. I just knew Darcy like through friends of friends. We're like acquaintances. fast forward like 2 weeks, we went to Austria together, I think.
Because you found out you were filming.
Well, I filmed him, and then I sent all the guys clips.
Oh, because you filmed them on the jump, and then they liked the clips, and they were like, damn, this homie's filming.
Yeah, and I didn't know what I was doing at all at the time. I was like, I'm going to come shoot people. Because I just was like, these guys are good, and I have a camera now.
I like that you just took that initiative because you were like, fuck, I'm working on these couple of random jobs. This might be more fun. I'm going to actually make something happen. Where I feel like a lot of people who might want to get into filming will sit there with their camera on their corner of their bed and be like, I hope somebody texts me to come film me. Yeah, it's like you just went and asked some homie like, hey, can I fit? Like the initiative there is like a bold play, but it needed to happen. I
think so. Also, if we just rewind just a tiny bit. So what happened for me buying this camera is what happened is I randomly just found a GoPro gimbal. This was like when gimbals just came out. I remember another friend had one and was like, dude, this is like the new tech or whatever. It was actually super weird. I was living at Justin Dory's house at the time.
Shout out
Justin Dory. And I remember it was just in the closet. Like I was trying to find something and I was like, what is this? And I pulled this thing out and I was like, oh, this is one of these like new tech devices. Because I remember I had a friend who had one. He was telling me, he's like, oh, dude, it's like, and it was all janky. It had like wires sticking out, whatever. Like it like made the thing all stable. So I borrowed a GoPro and just like shot with I think it was me and like Tim Crichton. I don't know if you remember Tim. No. Anyway, snowboarder from Ontario. He was on the national team for a bit too. And we just like passed it back and forth. And then I like had the footage and was like editing something, just like something for fun. And I was like, oh, I kind of like this, you know, because it's kind of like, I feel like when you in skateboarding and snowboarding, that's just part of skateboarding, snowboarding. It's like editing and filming stuff with your friends, passing the camera back and forth. There was always one friend in the group that like ended up with the footage and like learned how to like lightly edit something. I
feel like 90% of the time the filmer does the editing, but every once in a while there's like this rogue individual who's like, or this, you know, somebody films and then somebody edits. But like Kuzik, for who we grew up with, was the first one to get a camera, and he would also do all the editing. Because I feel like, not to intervene here for too long, but I feel like it's a good point to make that whenever you're filming, if you're a filmer who's filming with intent behind a certain shot, because you have a vision for that footage, when you're editing later, you're like, that's why I filmed this, so it could be placed somewhere like here.
Yes.
And I feel like it makes for a greater film. Maybe at the beginning when you're playing around with filming, you're not really thinking of that. But if you have intent behind like, okay, I'm going to film some stuff that might work really well for cut shots or whatever like that, or transition shots, like I need some whatever. I feel like that's what separates like a good filmer to like a great filmer. Sorry for interrupting.
No,
everybody.
and that's actually a good point, because that's a good point, because that's what I didn't have at all, because I had no idea what I was, you know what I mean? It was like, we just like, were like, for my friends skateboarding, like, I think like two of us had, or I think all three of them, like a couple of my friends, we all had a camera. So like one day, one of us would just bring one of ours, and then we'd like, I'll take turns shooting on it. And then whoever owned the camera would like edit the video. But then the next day, like another friend would like bring his camera and we'd just do the same thing. So I think like we all kind of got to learn how to lightly edit. Even when it came into like snowboarding, I feel like it was kind of similar. Like I never had a camera, but like you'd always kind of like, you know, we just like would all share. And then someone would just be like, all right, I'll take a crack at it this time. But yeah, anyways, did the whole GoPro thing the one day, and then I was like, that's like kind of fun. I was like, I forgot. It had been a while, you know, like this is like from being like a teenager to like now into like early adulthood, where I was like, oh, I like forgot what it was like to edit stuff, and like this actually is fun. And then then that kind of kickstarted buying a real camera just to see where it would go. And then I think I just kind of knew like some of the guys, like I knew Mikey C a little bit, I knew Tyler a little bit. Like it wasn't like I just rolled up and it was like to the crew and I was like, hey, I'm just gonna shoot you guys. Like I kind of knew them a little bit.
Yeah, you want to read the room. There's a way to be like keen that is tasteful. I feel like I use that word a lot on this podcast, but like if you want to be a photographer, a filmer, or a writer, there's a way to like tastefully place yourself where, yeah, it comes off like you're a bit keen and you're a bit excited, but that's fine because when you're younger and you're trying to make it, you should have that. I think it's a good trait to have because it shows people that you're like willing to put some effort in. But then there's a really fine line where it goes from like being keen and excited to like you just being like a keener or like this Nort.
Yeah, you don't want to be the
It's just
weird
like,
guy.
Yeah,
That's the
where
thing.
it's just like, bro, okay, like we get it. You're the new filmer, but like you don't need to film everything and have a fisheye in front of my face and I don't even know you.
Yeah, and that was the thing. So I kind of, I knew Chris who was coaching them. I knew the guys a little bit. I think I actually had shot with Craig a little bit too, like leading up to this. Like this was all within like maybe like a month of owning a camera. And then we like organized going on a trip together and we went to Aaron Style Innsbruck. And that was my first snowboard trip that I did with for filming.
Okay, Aaron Style, Innsbruck, first trip. Who's there? That would have been like.
Dude, it was it was such a sick crew. Like, now looking back on it, I was like, dude, that was like insane. It was like Darcy, Mikey, Mark, Tor Lundstrom, Sebby DeBuck, Mons Roisland. This is like when Mons and Sebby, and Darcy, like a lot of these guys, it's like their like kind of like breakout year when they're like getting invited to stuff. Yeah, guys like Eric Willette.
So this is 20.
I don't know when this would have been. This would have been like
2017.
Yeah, 16, 17.
Yeah.
Stahle, Sandbeck, and Torgeir Bergram were there. It was an insane. It was like
They're
sick.
still going. That whole crew, like most of them are still in X Games and stuff.
But it was just sick. Like I didn't realize how sick it was until like now looking back, and I was like that was an insane crew of people. But yeah, that was our first trip. Actually, that was a hilarious trip. So so Darcy calls me, and he's like, or we're talking, and he's like, yeah, just our flight was super early in the morning. We had to leave at like 3 a.m. And he's like, yeah, just come to the Whistler Athlete Center. I'm in like unit 8, like 19 or something. I'm like, okay. And he's like, yeah. He's like, just if I don't, he's like, I'm a deep sleeper, so just you can just like the door will be open. Just come in and just like wake me up if I'm still asleep. And I was like, all right, what the fuck, this guy's kind of weird. So it's 3 a.m. I cab over there, and for people who live here, there is something actually called the Whistler Athlete Center, which is like a hostel for people to come, like snowboard and ski teams to come, and you can like rent out this place. But behind it, there's actually like condos, which I don't think are necessarily part of that building. I don't know how. Anyways, he was referring to those condos. I have no idea. I think he's talking about this hostel hotel building. And I was kind of like, that's weird that Darcy lives there, but I was like, I don't know what his deal is. Maybe he gets like a cheap deal there or something because he's an athlete. So I remember going in there. There's no reception. I'm like, oh, or like no receptionist. And I was like, there's no unit 19. There's like, it starts at 100. So there's a sign that says that it's like, call this number if you like need assistance. So I called this girl, clearly sleeping. She's like, hello. And I'm like, hey, I'm trying to find Darcy Sharp. And she was like, I don't know if he's staying with, she's like, let me, she was like, I'll come over there. She's like 10 minutes later, she like shows up and I was like, I felt so bad. I was like, I'm an asshole right now. Anyways, I'm explaining to her, I'm like, yeah, we're supposed to go to Europe today. But I was like, I can't find him. And he told me he's living in unit 19. And she's like, that doesn't exist. And I was like, she's like, maybe 119. And she's looking at her computer being like, looking which guests are there. And then she kind of mentions too, she's like, he might be talking about the like condos back here. And I was like, oh, okay. So I go back there, go to whatever the door, it's locked. I'm like, okay. And I'm calling him also. I've called him like 20 times at this point just to be like, dude, where the hell are you?
I'm a deep sleeper.
Yeah. Then I'm finally just like, fuck it. I'm just going to knock on this door. I start knocking on this door. Then I kind of start like pounding on it, just trying to figure out like what's going on. Some girl opens the door and I'm like, she's like, what? And it's like 4 a.m. I'm like, hey, I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to get Darcy Sharp because we're supposed to catch a flight. And she goes, Darcy doesn't live here. Then it just slams the door. But then I was like, well, she clearly knows him and knows where he lives. But then I like was too scared to like
knock again.
Tell me where he lives. Anyways, I just go home at this point. Our flight's also at 7 a.m. It's like 4 a.m. right now. I just go home. I'm like, okay, well, so much for that trip. I get a call at 7:30 from Darcy, and he just goes, dude. And I was like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. And I explained the whole story to him. I'm like, I did this, knocked on this door, some crazy person yelled at me. He's like, oh, wait, sorry. 19, did you say? I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, I used to live there. I actually moved to Unit 8. And I was like, oh, okay. So that was my first trip. We actually missed the first day. We got on a flight the next day. And I was there for like 36 hours.
The knock at 3 a.m. We've all been there, but like just when you don't know somebody and you're not 100% sure it's the door and it's 3 or 4 a.m. and you are about to knock and you're not the person. If you're more like introverted at all, that knock, you're like, the first couple are so pathetic, and then you get louder.
I think I went back to the door like 4 different times. Like I think I stood there looking at it, just being like, I'd be like, I can't do it. Like, this is crazy. And then I would like go back to my car and just call him and like go back out. And then I think I started like lightly. And then I just was like, fuck it. And I started like,
that must have happened recently to me because I am like connecting with this on a whole nother level. Because that knock, I was like, I don't want to do it. But like, then I was doing it and it was like not enough. Oh, my parents. I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, I was like, oh, I'm not going to tell anybody about this, but like, you know, the wedding went great, but the dog thing. But I was like, that's for another time. That's when it was. My mom was asleep, and my mom teaches people how to be a veterinarian, and my dog just ate a bunch of chocolate-covered almonds the morning of the wedding. And so I was banging on her door, but the first bang was so pathetic. But I was like, I don't want to like bang any louder, but I need her. It's like 3 a.m. But I'm like, but I need this person to get up because my dog's going to die probably. And like, I need to get Darcy up because we're going to miss our flight in 5 minutes if he doesn't get up. So you slowly get louder.
Yeah, you kind of build confidence.
But my dad came to the door and I knew my mom was in that building. You just knocked on a door for 20 seconds and got super loud and some random lady opens the door. That must have sucked.
She was so pissed to me, and I totally understand. But I was just like, I don't know what to tell you here. But it was more that she slammed it in my face and just goes, he doesn't live here, when she knew where he lived. And I was like, if you just told me where he lived.
Yeah, that would have been bold if you would have just doubled down and you knock again.
I know. In hindsight, I should have just committed. Just been like, can you just tell me where he is so we can like not miss a day?
But now that you know Darcy, that is very uncharacteristic of Darcy to do that.
Yeah, for the people listening, Darcy is an interesting guy.
Yeah,
and
absolute
I've probably had some of the craziest. All of my crazy travel stories are involving him, I think.
You got another one?
How long do we got here?
How much money are the weekenders paying you when you start getting rolling here? Like trips just covered, or were you getting a little bit of a salary? Like what kind of budget? You know, you just burst on the scene. You know, kind of creating a whole new lane.
I mean, this is another thing. I think a lot of people are like, oh, like you, like I remember some friends from home, like I hadn't seen in a while. They're like, oh, you're like, I noticed like been traveling around, like you must be making tons of money. And I was like, I also didn't do my taxes for a couple of years. I did my taxes and I was like, I made like 20 grand one year and the next year I made like 30 grand. Like I didn't make any money. I just got to do a lot of cool stuff, which I wouldn't change it. You know, if I had to do it all over again, like that was kind of meeting everyone and getting your foot in the door and like, and gaining experience. And I don't think you can really, you know, I could have just been working a minimum wage job, probably making more money, but just not doing any of that stuff.
I think driving that home is important for anybody who's trying to break into a new lane. The first couple years is like, you know, you're doing it pro bono or you're doing it for peanuts. And then once you get established and you're deserving of a real check, those things will just inevitably come to those people that are nice, hardworking, and just continue to push forward. But the first couple years, way too many people, including people who film one video part or win X Games once or just do things once or film for 1 year, they all want this like huge paycheck or this massive reward. It's like, you haven't earned shit.
Yeah, I think that I don't know if I want to say it's like this I feel like it's paying your dues is starting to get like, I think people are maybe are a little more entitled than they used to be.
Well said. I totally agree.
But
You used to know you used to have to pay your dues. Like you were this like rep rider person for a couple years, and you knew that you were going to be a rep rider, and maybe you would skip a couple chapters, but there was no turbo boost to getting to the top unless you won the Olympics or won X Games or like filmed the last part in a Mac Dog movie. But there's no way to even get in with those people without kind of a long-term paying your dues system. But now somebody films a couple video clips, they go viral, and they think that they're this like special character. It's like, dude, a bunch of people follow you that don't even snowboard.
yeah, I think that's just like the social media game has changed a lot of the landscape with just a lot of things, but
it's not going away anywhere either. So my old head ass is just like, people are like, yeah, hell yeah, a bunch of people follow me that don't snowboard, and brands love it.
They do. But yeah,
not all of them. There's a couple. There's a couple I feel like that do a pretty good job, and I will pat on the back. Like there's a couple of brands that I ride for that I'm grateful, and I feel like their lane isn't all about the followers and the numbers. Of course, you need a certain
all of Jody's sponsors.
All of mine, head to toe. Head to toe. Yeah, they actually, all the sponsors I have are incredible. So shout outs to them.
Actually, good segue is that we got Gibbons to sponsor us.
Shout outs to Gibbons, who also sponsors the show. Gibbons Whistler. Yeah, absolutely get behind so many little things in and around the Sea to Sky, whether it was the Weekenders or being one of our first sponsors with the Man Boys, and they've been with us for a decade plus now, plus all the ski films and everything else they get behind. So big shout outs to Gibbons, who continues to get behind the right projects like this podcast.
Yeah, they gave us a travel budget, which was nice.
How much travel budget did they give you?
I can't remember, but I did realize at a certain point, I was like, wait, they're giving us travel budget, but I'm not actually making any more money. It's just making it cheaper for the other guys.
Yeah, that's kind of how it goes.
But no, I wouldn't. It was an experience that I loved, and it was a wild crew of people to do that with, and I never change any of it.
That's a good way to look at it. I mean, realistically, you wouldn't be sitting in this booth right now if anything else changed. So everything is exactly as it should be. A couple things could have went better. A couple things could have went worse. Could have invested in that. Could have bought Bitcoin. Could have sold it here. Could have bought there. You can't live your life woulda, coulda, shoulda, because you didn't, and you just got to be happy with what is, because that is what it is.
Yeah, we all should have bought Bitcoin.
I think that was the best. Did you just hear what I said there? That was incredible. I never say anything that smooth. Without the whole time I was like in this flow state, and I was like, man, maybe that's my next section. Working on fucking quotes for people. Here's something that I thought was spectacular. So you take a shot on filming Darcy, Mikey, Tyler. Yes, they were like, I would say they were all super talented snowboarders, but back to that, like paying your dues, they all had done nothing at that point, really. All three of those riders in the next couple years get, win X Games, get first or second, go to the Olympics. Like that crew, I think every single one of them podiumed at X Games at one point. Tyler got a second, Cicerelli got a second. I think Darcy won.
Mikey did a U.S. Open second.
Oh, okay, it was you,
but equally as big.
Totally. What to you as their filmer and their friend, when you start to build these relationships with these people and you see how hard they work, is it pretty special the day of and the day after, hanging out with those individuals to see them achieve something like walking home with an X Games medal or a US Open medal or an Olympic medal? Like, what are the vibes like for these individuals who you see like dream of that one day and then kind of hit that marker?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's super special to like share that moment with them. Like, I think Tyler, well, he actually, I think before I started traveling with those guys, I think he had gotten like a Locks Open, like third place. Like, I think that might have been his, and maybe a Do Tour podium too. So I think he had gotten two pretty big podiums like right the year before. I don't know if Darcy or Mikey had, but I think he was the first one too to get an X Games one out of those guys. I didn't think he took his medal off for like 2 days.
I wouldn't.
But no, it was sick to be there for that, and see how, see like their dreams come true, get X Games podium. And then I was there for, Darcy to get one, and then I was there for Mikey to get his US Open one. And it's like, it is sick to you've traveled around with, the same people for 2-3 years, and they're slowly all doing it, slowly all getting the big results that they're kind of that's what they're doing it for, they're trying to bring home the bacon.
They're trying to bring home the bacon. And all of them, in their own right, complete beasts. Very different snowboarding, but so talented. I got to witness all those kids ride through the park for a long time, and they all can buckle up. Out of those 3, who are you most surprised? When you first started filming one of them, were you you're good, but you're probably not going to win an X Games?
I actually think they all had, because when I started filming with them, they were all I think that year they had all gone to Locks Open. So this is before, but the Locks Open was they had come back to Whistler, and that's when I did that jump camp, and filmed them at the jump camp. But it was that was the year Locks Open when it was Canadian. It was top 5 were all Canadian, and then 7th was Canadian too. So the top 6 out of 7 were all Canadian, and those all those guys were in that top field there. But yeah, I kind of knew that they were all gonna. They were right there,
Beast.
And I think also seeing them ride in person. That's the thing with, I feel park riding or riding big jumps, is you don't realize how insane it is until you're standing there in person.
Well, someone like yourself who actually rode big jumps at COP, or somewhat, those are sizable jumps.
Yeah.
When you go to the US Open, who I would say,
oh, that's another conversation. That's
the US Open course was buck.
It's insane.
It's full extra large the whole way down.
Extra large, and the landings are I think that run is used for ski racing, before they do the Open. So when you do ski racing, they inject the snow with chemicals to make it firmer, because ski racers, they want it they want to be on ice basically. So then when the cat comes in and pushes all the snow, when the snow refirms up, it's still got all that stuff in it. So the landings are the most bulletproof hard landings you've ever seen in your life.
And if you're a contest rider and you're on your A game, a landing like that, if you're coming around on a switchback 16 and you want to bite into your toes, there's probably some portion of that is good and some of it sucks.
I think if the landings matched up with the takeoffs properly, then it's chill. But it never really seemed like it did.
I always thought that run looked the most beast though. Whenever there was a US Open, I was it was insane. It
was one of my, I think it was that course was definitely, I think it was one of my favorite ones to watch. Just because it's straightforward. It's just straight down. There's no weird turns in in it. The jumps are huge. I think Takaru landed one time and his lens just flew out of his, he had the magnet lenses, and he landed so hard that his lens just came off his face.
That's dope.
Because the impact was so aggressive.
Oh, that is so sick. X Games, to me, the one thing, the room for improvement, I would say, and maybe you can agree or disagree with me here, but the jumps need to get bigger. These people are doing 16s and 18s on what it looks like a 40-foot jump. It's to me, I think as far as entertaining and seeing snowboarding progress maybe in the right direction, I just think a larger tabletop would look better.
I think I agree with you. I would like to see the jumps maybe a bit bigger, but the issue with X Games, it's a short course. Take
a feature out.
I think they did that this year.
Okay.
So it was only because the jumps at X Games are actually usually decently sized if they just do 3 jump features. But I feel the last couple of years they tried to squeeze in 4. There was 2 quarter pipes, and then 2 jumps. Or the one year was 2 jumps and 2 quarter pipes at the end. Or something like that. I can't remember how they did it.
They don't need to overcomplicate it. I think that if you have 2 to 3 air features and 2 rails. It's just like let people link together the best run.
Yeah.
And just have the things all sizable and like respectable, like rather than just like the tinking on the rails, like tink, 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 like you don't actually lock into anything.
Yeah.
Like speaking of locking, when I think, and I'm kind of just going with whatever, whatever folder's opening into my brain right now. And I'm thinking of Seb Toots, back one, switch 50, back one on that long down tube. Like his opening run at the Olympics was a back one, switch 50, back one on like a 30-foot down tube. Like that must be the hardest trick to try to do in your slope style run rather than just doing the old front 270, 270.
Seb actually, Seb would do that shit. Like he would be down, just be like, I'm going to do like the kind of risky trick that might not score that well. But I think it paid. I mean, the one US Open, he just was front boarding like the down flat down. It was kind of like a flat-ish rail. So it's not like it was a round, but still, like everyone was doing the classic gap, and Seb was just like, "I'm just gonna front board through the kink."
Way better.
Um,
I'll always bring up the Mickle Bang run. It was just back in the day, switch back lip to switch. He would always open his run, switch back lip to switch, and then switch back 9 on the first jump, and it was just like, oh my god, that is like, if you are about it and you are a student, you watch that run and you're like, damn, that is it.
dude, yeah, Mickle's the sickest.
Yeah, he is without a doubt.
Did you have him on here?
Yeah, of course. Tune in, subscribe. When you go to like these events like X Games, Dew Tour, you go to everything, scaffolding setups. Who stands out to you as the most fierce competitor or competitors? Like people that take it serious, the modern day, like Michael Jordan's, Tiger Woods, they're showing up early, they're doing their reps, they're into winning. And counter that with who's there just like, fuck yeah, we're at X Games.
Well, I think the fuck yeah guy was Kyle Mack. He's not competing anymore, but I don't know if I can even fucking say this.
Why? That's amazing.
Because I wasn't there for this event. And I don't remember where it was. But I think Kyle was trying to prove a point that like you can, like back in the day, people would like snowboard and party and like compete or whatever film and like still do it, and win or get the sickest clip while just getting wasted the night before. But the level had increased so much that like you kind of have to be pretty on it.
We're keeping this. This is good. And shout out to Kyle for fucking going into the lab with this one.
Okay. But I'm pretty sure Kyle's whole thing was that week because he just got absolutely destroyed every night to try and be like, I can do this. And then I don't think he did very well.
Shout out to Kyle Mack. I don't know that homie, but hell yeah, brother.
But that was
What about Rene? Rene seems like he's just like, oh, sick, the jump's here, let's go. Like,
see, but Rene has the thing where he is like so good at just being like, what's going on? But he can like, but then he like locks in when he drops in, if that makes sense. I honestly think these days most people kind of like take it like there is like a level of like preparedness you have to be because it's like so gnarly now, but are we talking who's the most?
yeah, we're talking about who's going out there trying to be like, I'm trying to be like McDavid, I'm trying to be Austin Matthews, like those people are taking it serious. Like they're doing their reps, not even the day before, the day after. They're doing their reps year round. They're watching their diet. They're doing all the specialty things off the side. They're going David Goggins.
Fuck, I want to say like maybe Maxence was doing that. I want to say his competitive career, he was pretty like, he was always seemed pretty like locked in.
Kyle Mack was the loosest. Way to go. Okay.
That is an insane
All
story.
right, we're gonna go through. We got a couple questions here. These are some random questions presented by The Source, our shop from Calgary.
That's where I
ship
bought all my
worldwide.
stuff.
Yeah, sourceboards.com. Check them out. They got all your gear for next year, including Ashbury and Vans and Skull Candy and all the other great stuff. Okay. most expensive taste, and this is for the snowboarders that are in the contest scene that you travel with all the time. You know, we're trying to get a little bit of an insight here.
The most expensive taste?
Yeah, who's got like, oh, perfect, that comes with gold crusting on my steak? Yourself?
No. I can't. Well, I mean, I think if I could afford the expensive taste, maybe I would have it, but I just can't afford it.
Jamie Anderson.
Jamie is down for both, I feel like. She's down to kind of ball up, but she's also down to just like do whatever. Probably McMo, honestly.
I mean, it makes sense. If you're making the most.
Because he can kind of just get it. He can just do it. You know?
I think you want a taste of the finer things in life.
That's
you don't
what it is.
want it to
Getting
be-
a little taste
That's
of
all
it
you need.
never hurt anyone.
And then as soon as it becomes your routine, you're a piece of shit and you take it for granted like everybody else because you're not unique. It's just how the human mind is wired that once you have a good thing for too long, even like living somewhere as beautiful as Whistler, eventually you take it for granted. Whatever you're doing, you typically one day take it for granted. And then it takes you a good smack in the face to realize of how good you had it the whole time. And you know what? Flying on a plane, even in economy, on a WestJet flight back to Winnipeg is a goddamn fucking miracle. You
It
just
really
fly
is.
in this tube
It
and then
really
you-
is.
It's incredible.
I'm amazed they don't crash more often, honestly.
Hey, let's not even talk about that. It's not going to work.
I think that
You
every
start-
time I get on an airplane.
Oh, me too. Everyone. Dude, flying to Japan, as soon as you're over the most cold place in the world up there in the whole north and you're just over the fucking ocean, I'm like, if this is where I always think like,
Oh, you're screwed, I think.
well, yeah, but what if you're the story where like you live? You got to try.
Or you like somehow saved everyone. Anyways, every time I get into the
You're not
airplane,
saving everybody.
every time I get into the airport, though, I'm always at the airport like, we're doing this again. I'm always like, how do these things not crash all the time?
Dude, I feel like he listens to the podcast, so I'm not going to say his name, but a professional snowboarder, his close friend or best friend from high school, they were in a plane over the Panama Canal, and their plane crashed. Everybody on the plane died except for him. He got found 2 days later in the jungle, survived, and then the following year, he went to Hawaii with one of his other best friends, and his other friend got eaten by a shark, and then he went to like a ward or something like that because he went crazy and thought he was cursed.
I would assume I'm cursed too if that's happened to me.
Right? You would go crazy.
You're the only survivor. You're the lone survivor.
Apparently, this is another thing that I feel like he said. This story was from Camp of Champions back in the day. All the seats buckled and cut everybody's legs off. And he lifted his legs and curled up in a ball. Because they were in one of those smaller planes with probably only like 50, 60 passengers. So all the seats buckled and went back and cut everyone's legs off. And he was the only one with his legs up because he like curled up in a little ball on his seat. And anyways, he survived in the jungle for 2 days. They found him. And
If he's but with the seatbelt around his legs, though?
I think that he just did one of these with the seatbelt. You know,
Well,
he
that
he got his ankles above where the seats would backlog.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Anyways,
Okay, that's good
crazy
to know.
story though, right?
Lift your legs up.
I think
so they don't.
I've
so
thought
you-
about that, and I'm like, it kind of makes
So they
sense.
get chopped in half.
Kind of makes sense. I also was thinking that like you could open the door of the plane right before the plane hits and jump out if there's water. Or maybe you would hit it at terminal velocity and the water would turn to concrete.
Yeah,
and
then you would
explode.
start skipping around. You want to open the door, but then hold on to the door and surf it.
Shut the surf a wave, bro. Who's the best snowboarder that surfs?
Oh. So I'm not the best surf guy, so I don't, but I would have to say it's a toss up between like Brock Crouch and Judd Hangus.
Yeah, those two are beast.
But they're both like California kids that like grew up like they just grew up doing both. I feel like you can't be I don't think you can just like pick up one later in life and then be super good at it. You have to like just be doing it forever.
Yeah, Judd is an incredible surfer and snowboarder. Great. Okay, we're going down the hybrid roll here. Who's the best snowboarder that skates?
Lion Farrell is in one of those, is in that category. Judd again. Oh, well, so it depends, because a lot of these guys are good at transition. So like Jake Cantor's in that. Jake's probably like if we're talking like good at snowboarding and then good at, like, Jake can like back five in like the
Bowls.
big, in like the Tony Hawk half pipe. He actually just posted doing one the other day.
I think I saw the clip.
Jake's probably like the best hybrid guy that I know. I'm trying to think if anyone's like super good at the streets.
Well,
like
you have
Blake and Ika, maybe. Paul.
Well, those are good picks. Blake and Ika, both of them, I would say, are really good. Classic, good skateboarding. But then they're on the same kind of wavelength as like your E-Mans and your Jeeves and your Alec Allstrings. Like that whole group is kind of the same frequency. And then I think there's like your Jeds.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Jed's a perfect example of that. Yeah, he's like full
Cole
street part.
Navin's really good at skating too. Forrest Bailey's really good. Jake Kuzik's really good. There's a lot of like really good, like sometimes, like I went on a Vans trip one time and the whole Vans trip, like everyone was skating everywhere we went. We went there for 3 weeks. And dude, some of those guys are
Did you skate?
Oh yeah, the whole time. It was fun because I hadn't skated that much in years.
Yeah.
And by the end I had all my tricks back. It was I skated a lot with just Ollie G. We would have our own games to skate on the side,
yeah.
because we were like on the same kind of program, just kind of doing like flat ground, mellow stuff. But then you have like your, Danimals. Parker Zamowski gets fucking gnarly. He skates fast and is down to rip like.
Oh, Sean Fitzsimons also is in that conversation of like really good
Sean
skateboarders.
Pettit's a great skater too.
Sean P is a good skater. Yeah.
Really good skater. Yeah, there's a lot of good skateboarders, and I get it because it's a blast. Do you still skate? You used to have a really good nose manny and stuff.
I've gone a couple times this summer. Definitely skating less as the years go on. I don't know if it's like because I don't want to skate.
How's your nollie flip no slides these days?
I can't do the nollie flip, unfortunately.
Can you nollie no slide?
I can. It's not a trick I'm good at, but I've done it before. But
It's a good trick.
I can like nollie.
I just threw out like a really hard trick.
No, I was never good at the switch flips in skateboarding.
Well, I had the wackest. The one switch flip trick that I could do was a switch. This is so funny because if you're from my era, this trick was already a faux pas, and I brought it switch. I could switch varial flip.
That
And
honestly,
the varial flip when I was a kid was not a cool trick. Like it.
but
it is-
now I think it's kind of sick if you can do that.
Well, that's because people have. It's kind of like snowboarding, where every trick now can be done by a certain individual that's filmed in a certain way, and they're wearing the right kit, and it's on the right spot, and any trick can look sick. Someone could do a frontside Zichi salad grind on the right thing, filmed right, and I'd kind of be like, that's fucking dope. But 99% of people probably can't make that look cool. Varial flip, I feel like, is a little bit easier because people are starting to do it like a pop shove and then a kick flip.
Yeah.
I'm not following skateboarding as much as I used to, so I don't even like to like throw my like full 2 cents in there because it's just not a valid opinion. And running a snowboard podcast is,
It's hard to follow skateboarding. Like snowboarding is already hard enough because there's like so much stuff coming out. Skateboarding is like even triple that.
What's the last skate video you watched?
Dude, I don't even know.
Exactly. But nobody has the time.
All the sick clips just end up on Instagram anyways. So it's like you don't really like need to necessarily watch the full part.
Oh my God.
Eventually you just see the sickest stuff. You're not even looking for it. It'll just pop up. You're like, oh, that was so sick. Like,
Yeah, I know. But if you drag that conversation to snowboarding, then you're just telling our whole audience that like, the Burton video that comes out or the fucking next video that comes out, like, who gives a shit? Just wait till the Instagram clips get flooded into your algorithm.
I know that is true.
That's new age thinking, Russ, and we don't like that here on the podcast. We're gatekeepers and we're old heads here. You've crossed the line. You've ridden every park on the planet. You're also, for those that don't know, Russ is also a very good snowboarder. himself. We kind of went over that with his pipe skills, but I ride the park all the time. And Russ has also got a mean cab 5. He's got a big bag of tricks on the steel and very good style. Kind of, I would argue, in the Sea to Sky area, you got your Coulter Hurd and you got Russell. Those are the two best filmer, and Rusty in the POW. Great filmer boarders. But you ride a lot of parks. You travel all over the world riding parks. What park is the best on planet Earth?
That's a tough one. The Locks Park is just kind of insane for everything. But the run is so long though that I feel like you just don't like it's insanely long. So the park goes on for a long time, but if you're like really trying to sesh one thing, you're like, oh, I can't wait to hit that one feature. It's like if you screw it up, it's in huge lap to get back there. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, Absolute Park in Austria.
Is that near Vernay? Where's his spot?
His is Meyerhofen.
Okay.
I don't know the landscape there geographically, but
because the jumps that he hits all the time look super nice.
Yeah, I mean I think he goes to Absolute Park though sometimes because it's like
he's always got his double lines filmed by like a drone or whatever, and it's just like he's got his stock tricks. He's got a good jump style.
Yeah, I think I feel like that's in Meyerhofen, but I could be wrong. But Absolute Park, the Locks, here when the weather's nice.
Have you been to Mission Ridge? That park looks dope.
No, I haven't, but I've seen clips of it. It looks insane.
The rail set up there. It's like a troll hogging.
I haven't got to do too many like Midwest, like I don't know where Mission Ridge is. That's not.
How much is it to hire you? What's your day rate these days?
It depends who's asking.
Okay, well, airtime. Jody's asking. How much would it cost for you to film me and we go to Trollhagen, we go to Highland, and we go to Mission Ridge, and we go to Winnipeg.
Oh, and then am I filming on what kind of camera am I using? Just a phone?
But you could use a phone. You could use, a new GoPro. You could use whatever. As long as here's the thing: is a lot of people have talked shit on filming on the phone. If you film it right, it's incredible. A lot of people talk shit on filming with a GoPro, but you put the right presets on. Mark Ass Mondays, who's one of my favorite park editors of all time, always filmed on a GoPro at the end of his career there. This footage looks incredible. And then you got real cameras in the park. Like, what are you filming with when you're doing follows in the park typically?
Oh, depending on what park it is. If it's like super buck, I'll like use the GoPro because it's like the easiest. But if it's like not like an insane crazy run, I sometimes I'll just do the fisheye on the red and then stabilize.
On the red?
Yeah, but then you can stabilize it in post. So
but you're bombing around a hill with a red camera?
Well, no, that's why I said if the run's not super buck.
Even still.
Like if it's like the X Games course, it's like, dude, the rails are so tight and it's like too insane. I'm like, I like you can make it through this, but it's like it's not going to be that enjoyable, and it's like so buck that like you're probably just gonna be shaking all over the place.
You're pretty stable though for the follows.
Okay, so the GoPros just have good internal, like they just do it on their own now. The GoPros just have good stabilization. When I use the red, like I have to stabilize it later with software.
And how much does a red cost?
I'm trying to think. I think mine was like 16,000 Canadian with all the stuff on it.
What's a GoPro?
500.
Why doesn't the stabilization come with the 16,000?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Come on, red.
When I was in Mount Hood, I just brought my camcorder.
Like an actual, like a high 8?
No, like a newer one.
Oh yeah,
those
ones are like Rusty's got a little handy cam Sony and
yeah. So I got kind of like what Rusty's got, but I got maybe like a nicer.
Think you're better than Russ?
No, not well. No,
one Russ to another Russ. You think you're cooler than our cool Russ?
You guys kept calling him Cool Russ, and I was like, what the fuck am I now then?
You could be Super Cool Russ, dude. We haven't given you a name yet. It's just that Russ, since he's retired professional snowboarding.
Yeah, okay. You guys also, he was never Russ. He was always Rusty, and now now I'm Rusty to people.
Dude, I don't know. Things are moving quick these days. You know how it is on the gram.
People call me Rusty sometimes now. I'm like, well, now Rusty's
you've had Russ long enough.
Did you ever hear about how the Travis Rice thought my name was Rusty for like a week, and that's why like Blake and like a bunch of people call me Rusty.
Oh, fuck. We didn't go through this list. We got sidetracked, man.
Wait, what?
We didn't go through the list presented by the source. We got to most ballin'.
Oh, well,
and then we got all sidetracked.
That was your fault.
That is my. It is my show. I got lost, but like, who gives a shit? We're having a good time here.
Oops.
Okay. This is actually funny. The next question is, who's the biggest shit show?
Oh. I mean, we've answered this. I think Darcy Sharp is the most insane person I've ever met in my life.
I mean, I loved when he bought a Tesla and put the Gucci Ghost shit all over it. I was like,
Okay, yeah, let's go over insane Darcy stuff. Buys a Tesla, wraps it, gets Trevor Andrews to paint Gucci Ghost logos all over it. Also, like, not very long before that, bought like a brand new Tacoma too, and then he didn't do anything that crazy with it. Actually, I think he just like took it off roading like when it was like fresh, and just like smashed it around a bunch. And I was like, this thing is. I would be like not doing anything crazy to this if I bought a fresh truck.
Yeah, but everybody has respect.
I know. I honestly
everyone's jealous of the person who buys a new truck and then they actually off-road.
No,
like,
I know.
Belzil would do that.
It is
like, that's dope.
It is pretty sick that I was like,
I don't do that.
I was like, I'm down that you just are like, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna rally this thing.
The bigger baller you are, the more you can be like, I can just fucking rally.
I'm trying to think of what other like funny Darcy shit. I mean, I don't know. There's just like been a bunch of stuff.
Okay. Biggest podium upset.
Oh.
Have you ever been at a contest? Because you've been to thousands of contests with all of the best. Have you ever been there and everybody knows that podium?
Dude, the Olympics.
Which one?
Actually, that's a good point. But no, this last one. I wasn't there for this last one, but that was for sure like the biggest insane podium I've ever seen.
Max won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is no disrespect to Max. It's just like he didn't grab his board and he made like a critical error. You know what I mean? Where it's like, it's just something, if that was caught, you would just be like, yeah, that's just like, he landed the run to the bottom, but he just missed a grab. So therefore this run's just not going to score high enough to get on the podium. That was just what would happen normally. But
the fact that at the Olympics, they didn't have,
it still blows my mind.
Review that quick enough. Like,
well, the thing is, apparently they don't get to do that. Like they got to watch the run in real time, real speed, and they don't get to. It was a huge. This was actually kind of like, it kind of gets me going a little bit because I don't understand it, because they're like, hey, we got to like get these results out so fast because it's the broadcast and all this stuff, so we don't have time to do this. So you're like, okay, so then you like made a huge mistake. But I was like, these guys have 3 runs. Why can't you just be like, hey, we realized that we made a mistake. We're going to change the score on this run. Inform who the riders at the top. Be like, hey, the runs, like, you know, they scored differently, or this run scored differently. So Max, you know, or whoever you were would know like, oh, my score is different. You know, it's lower now. So I got to do my run again, you know? They like are like, no, we can't do that. And I was like, I don't really see the problem here in doing that.
I totally
And then
agree.
The part that I think is funny, because everyone was like, yo, the judging sucks, the judging's whack, blah, blah. And then the judges kind of like blamed the camera people. We're kind of like, yeah, but we got like terrible angles. But I was like, okay, well, like at a certain point they're spinning so fast, like you could give you any angle you want. You're probably not really going to notice it.
Every contest that is a slope style or a big air contest with how fast everyone's spinning, you have to have a replay. What if people start doing taipans and stuff like that?
But either or, it's just that everyone got mad at the judges. The judges kind of got mad at like they kind of blamed on like the camera stuff, and then it just ended there. And you're like, okay, so there's still no solution. They haven't come up with like a way to solve this problem. They're just like, oh yeah, it happened and it was like super bad and actually really impacted the outcome of the event.
And it impacted these riders who put their entire.
Because then Red would be on the podium. Because Red got 4th. And then even at that even the game's entire, like just the judging in general, it was like, I feel like they weren't really scoring the rails comparatively to the jumps. Like, because Ming got 2nd and he had an insane run, but his rail line, he only slid 1 rail. The first rail. So I think he did like cab 2 sub off on the down flat down. But you know how people roll in and not hit the bot, like And then he did the tame dog off the little house thing, the second feature, then a Miller flip.
Yeah, tame dog's always a dock for me. You'd actually get less points with a tame dog unless you're able to do that as good as Luda, I think the other day posted one, and he did like a front flip Indy, and like think it was him.
My thing is just the rails are there, so you should be sliding the rails, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Like,
we don't want to see a tame dog beside the rail that you should switch
and it's nothing
back
on Ming's shit at all. I was just kind of like, I was like, if I'm judging this thing, I'm like, I'm going to award the riders that are sliding the steel.
Oh, yeah. Me too, Russ. Great take. Yeah, so I'm happy for Max to get that, and I think that life works in mysterious ways, and someone who beats cancer wins the Olympics. It's like the greatest story ever. I know you're not taking away from him.
Yeah. I think if it's a critical mistake like that, the head judge should be allowed to just be like, all right, we're going to redo this. I don't think everyone, because I think they're scared that it might open Pandora's box of like, then everyone's going to be like, oh, hey, did you see like someone did that?
I know, and then the coaches get involved, and they're like, hey, we need a review on that.
But something like that's completely changing the outcome of the event, and everyone knows it's wrong. I think that
as you know, Russ, you give them an inch, they take a mile.
I know.
Okay, funniest person on tour.
It's probably Brock Crouch or Zoe.
Zoe?
Dude, Zoe's insane.
I love that. I thought Zoe was funny. I just wasn't expecting the funniest. No offense, Zoe. I'm a huge fan. Why don't you paddle your canoe over here and say something about it? Who's the I can do anything Lord?
Oh, of just like any trick ever?
They're just every time you're standing on the knuckle of a jump filming all these maniacs, you're like, obviously that person's going to do whatever they want because they're so good.
Oh, that's probably got to be Marcus Cleveland. Like, actually, I think Marcus can do anything. I don't know. Or maybe Darcy's in that conversation. I've seen him do some crazy stuff.
What's the craziest thing you've seen Marcus do?
Well, he can just spin backside at any rotation you want at any axis. He can do it flat. He can like triple cork it or like quad cork it, or he can like barrel roll it. You could just make a whole fucking PowerPoint presentation on the different ways Marcus Cleveland can spin backside. He can take off nollie. He can take off normally. I don't know how he does it. He can just do every direction or every type of spin backside.
You see that clip of him yesterday that he posted of he's like doing a back nose blunt backside 14, or is it a back 10? But he like back nose blunts.
Yeah, and then he goes like kind of forward, like kind of chicane-ish style. Yeah. He's a do anything off a jump guy.
Who's willing to battle the hardest to get a trick?
Probably Craig. Honestly, I've seen him persevere from some heavy battles in the streets.
Craig can take a fucking slam, that's for sure.
I've seen him take some slams where I was like, we gotta go, and he's like he'll just go back up.
Beast. And an important one, the last one. Who spends 10% at the bar?
Again, probably Craig. Depending on how many refreshments he's had prior.
Who's the most generous with if they win? Who's the most generous with like their travel budget? Who takes care of Russ and crew the best? And deserves a shout out for that and the snowboard community needs to know about this individual.
I don't even know if I don't know if I can say one individual, but Mark's obviously had a lot of success, and we've gotten to have some fun times after. Zoe's definitely bought some drinks for the crew before. After winning, I mean, she pretty much won every event for like 3 years straight.
So on one.
In X Games Norway, I think Mountain Dew sponsored this event, and Red had just gone on Mountain Dew. I don't remember how Red did it in the event, but I just remember that everyone knew Red's room number, and the after party was like in the hotel lobby bar, the ground floor just turned into like a club basically, and then everyone just used Red's room number.
Oh, and put everything charged to his room.
Yeah, but he just got a Mountain Dew, and his room was like I think Mountain Dew like got him the room, so it's like I think he like just got on, and then his fucking first thing was just like an insane room charge.
I love it. Do the dues, got to pay their dues.
But I'll never forget that was just so funny. I just remember everyone knew his room number, and I think Reddit like 5 a.m. Red's like, dude, I'm fucked.
It's like a $5,000.
But this is
bill.
also when he was like maybe like I don't even know, like this was like a long time ago. He was pretty young at the time.
Yeah.
So it'd just be funny to have like I don't know, like maybe like a 17-year-old with like an insanely huge just bar tab charge.
That kid's been on one for a long time. When did he win the Olympics? He must have been like what, 18?
Yeah, I don't know. That was 2018.
That was beast. That little front side air he did at the
Wait,
top.
when was that? Or was it 2016? I don't even know anymore. It was 20. Yeah.
This is a question that I have, having filmed a lot of my friends on the knuckle of jumps. Have you ever been hit by an individual that you've been filming? Has anybody drifted off the jump and hit you on the knuckle? Have you ever gotten bodied by another boarder on the hill?
No, I've had a couple of close calls on the knuckle. Craig almost did land on me, and Zeb Powell has also almost landed on me.
Almost.
The Zeb one, I mean, it's more than just. I've done it a couple of times with people. Is like if they just they drift and you see them, you just got to commit to like going coffin and then laying on you just like fall on your back. I did that. I did that.
That's your technique.
Well, with the Zeb one, I did that. With the Craig one, I just had to run. Have you not seen that clip? I'll send you the clip.
Is it the one that you guys were filming at the end of the year at the Red Bull event?
Yeah. There's that one of Craig where I almost get landed on. The Zeb one, I don't think there's not like a clip of. It's just my camera, so you can't really tell what's going on, you know.
Yeah, quick shout outs to Mason Jar for jumping off that cliff to flat every year. That's insane.
No. The Craig one I'm talking about, it was from like an Aspen shoot we did.
Oh, I don't remember.
This was like 20, like, I don't know, like 18.
It was a Red Bull shoot, though.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. What's your worst injury?
Shoulder dislocated trying to do a back nine.
In the pipe?
Yeah.
Well, for that, you can grab a Scandinavian bath pass.
Oh!
I was trying to extract some sort of injury or some sort of, rough time in your life so you can go de-stress at the Scandinavian spa here in Whistler. Ice cold, hot, relax, eucalyptus. Enjoy the time there. I'll see you there, buddy. Absolutely.
That's awesome. Thanks, Jody.
Yeah, no worries. Later on, we'll give you another gift, but that will be a surprise for a later time. Have you ever been on the jump or around filming for any NBDs? I feel like you've been there for a lot of probably some of the most progressive tricks in snowboarding. Have you ever seen anything go down for the first time ever? Never been done's?
I think the only like true NBD I've been there for was when Mark did that like front blunt on an up rail and then did like a back 12 out of it.
That was insane.
Or I don't know, it would have been like a back 11 something, but
Were you there filming that, or were you?
yeah, no,
there?
I filmed it, or like I filmed one of the angles of it.
Jeez, that battle, he battled for that one, right?
Yeah, because he was trying to go to 10, like trying to land regular, but it just wasn't coming around. So then he just was like, I'm just gonna do to 12. and then that was ended up what happened. Then he did it to 12, like in a couple tries.
That was an insane clip. I will definitely cue that up. And that was kind of like Mark. He was already huge, but at that point, it was kind of like, I don't know. I feel like when you're in your prime, you can kind of explore things like that, where if that went wrong, ooh, dude, you're going up that fast, front blunt, backside 1080 off of it, basically.
After he did the first one, though, he kind of like was like, it was so chill that I kind of like I was like, oh, he's not gonna like get seriously injured, you know, he's gonna get it and cut like at some point. But And then I think that's the only thing I've like ever filmed that like I'm, like actual MBD. I filmed a lot of people's personal MBDs, like their first time learning, like, landing a trick. Like I filmed his first quad cork, and I've been there for a lot of people's like first like 16s, I guess.
And okay, let's go through that, because that's a really exciting time between a filmer and a rider. It's very intimate. The rider lands his dream trick, and you filmed it, and you got the shot, and that's the first time that they landed it the way they wanted to. You ride out for 100, 200 feet, and that vibe, that energy between the two of you, that's fucking magic.
It feels insane. Like, even though you're not the one doing it, you're kind of going through the battle a little bit with them, whether it's like, whether they're like taking slams or like you can just tell they're mentally like, really stressing out about it. So when you do land it, or when they land it, it's almost weight off your shoulders too, because you're like, oh, they're good.
And you need to know what to say as a filmer during that battle. Like, some people do need to get tapped out. Some people need the extra push. You film with a lot of the greats, where I'm imagining, do you navigate those waters just being silent, or like, how do a lot of those masters like a filmer to go about filming when they're going to try like an NBD? Do they want you to be vocal, quiet?
I usually don't say anything unless like they ask me a question, like say they tried it twice and like kind of came around but didn't work, and they're like, oh, what do you think? Then maybe I'll like, but like also I'm like, it's so insane. I have no idea what to tell you. But for that quad cork or Mark's one though, that one actually, because he was trying to just do it flat. If you watch the video, there's like a video of it where he just like, I put like most of the attempts, I think, or all of them. He was trying to do it flat, like how everyone's doing that kind of constant cork now, but it wasn't really working. And I remember Brock was at the bottom, so I'm on the knuckle and Brock's at the bottom, and Brock calls me and he's like, dude, what's he doing, dude? I don't know what to tell him. And I was straight up just like, dude, I don't really know what to say, but I was like, it just seems like it needs to like go like dead, like constant cork, or like flat, or like go full flip. Cause like right now it's kind of like wobbling.
Like his axis is wobbling.
Yeah, his axis was like kind of on a wobble, like dip, as opposed to like how like a lot of kids are doing now. They just like get on this, I don't know, 45-degree axis with their board, and they just stay like this. His was kind of, wobbling back and forth. And then I was like, he's kind of like how I see it, it's just got to like fully go cork. And then I think Brock ended up passing that information along, and then he did it in like 3 tries. Like once he committed to like just dipping. But you generally I don't say much unless I'm asked, because I just like, I don't know, you don't want to. It's like tense when people are like trying to like do, especially on those big jumps, when people are trying to do like, just bigger spins that they've never done before, or cork go upside down an extra time and they've never done it before.
Have you ever been filming somebody or at a session where, like, because these people are really pushing themselves, you know what I mean? They're trying to like push the limits of what a human is capable, not only themselves, but like to just see if like a 16 is doable. Like you've been there since, the boom of the 14, the 16, the triple cork, the 18, now the 2160 or whatever. Like, you've seen contest riding go into this like turbo trajectory to like as if we are capable of doing this. Are you ever filming and like nervous for the riders?
Yeah, pretty much like all the time. Like, I mean, when they're pushing it, when they're trying to do something they never like it, once they've kind of done something a bunch of times, even if it's something kind of crazy, you kind of like know that they've probably got it or will get to their feet, It's more just when they're like, trying something new or out of their comfort zone, when you're kind of like, okay, this is like getting a little tense.
I mean, I look at like Mark Mick, who's like, one of his stock tricks would be like a switchback 16. And, you're doing that on a contest jump. And I rewatched a couple of your YouTube videos before this episode. And this one in particular that you guys are at, where are you guys again? Chur?
Oh, was it for like the big air?
Yeah. Yeah, you're at like a scaffolding setup. And like he goes switchback 16 and they just iced the knuckle. And like they salted it, sorry. And he lands the switchback 16, flies over the side of the the cage.
yeah, I think.
Sick shot. But then in the finals, he like almost comes up short on this like ice knuckle. And it's like, if you're one under that rotation and a board length short on like a triple cork, like, holy fuck, the G-force that you have. Like, luckily, a lot of the best contest kids right now are so good at their takeoff. Because if you have a scruffy takeoff right now and you lose that like 10 to 20 feet because you scrubbed and you come up short on a triple, it's like, dude.
The scaffolding's also just such a different like beast than a regular jump. Because also that contest was like it was warm. It was like in October. Like, it wasn't cold outside. So I think the takeoff got really soupy. That's the same thing that happened in every LA Aaron style they've done like the jumps like pretty fucked basically. A lot of those,
that's what you get for trying to host a snowboard event in downtown LA.
it's like a tough thing because the idea is super sick. You're like, oh, like, you know, it's like comfortable weather to like have a crowd stand, but you're like the actual jump itself is just like not working.
It didn't work back in the day either. You watch those old videos like before people could really hold a line, and you see like Peter Line and everybody flying off those things. Like, people that couldn't hold an edge good, they fly off and they drift. It just seems like those events, for whatever the time in snowboarding, they can never keep up to the progression of where snowboarding is at.
No, and just the shape of the jump's so different now. I feel like back then it worked because they were kind of like step down, and like sometimes the jump wasn't even really a jump. It was just like a slight incline, and then it was just like it was honestly like a diving board. But it worked great for a spectator because you're seeing the whole thing. Now the jumps have to be a little bit more, like, for them to be safe, they're a little more tabletop-ish, you know, like the landing or the takeoff is almost like in line with the landing. And for a spectator, it's like hard to see because you don't see them till they're like at the peak of the air.
Yeah, it's very boring. I feel like I've said that multiple times on the show, but they like just bring back massive tabletops with flat decks, and I want to see a switchback 12 on 100-foot park jump with a flat deck. Like, that shit is fucking cool. Like, to the point where, like, if you're a contest kid and you don't want to go into the backcountry, film a park edit without a bunch of dumb banners on a hip, without a bunch of dumb banners on a big tabletop jump. Do a front 10 Indy on a 100-foot jump with just a massive deck. There's no step up and over. None. It's
no,
like,
I personally,
that is beast.
I personally think like, yeah, I love the way like that kind of jump
It looks
shoots
so good.
Like if whether you're shooting from like a big like side angle, you know, where you see the whole thing and it's just a huge cheese wedge, or like if you're on the knuckle and stuff, it just makes it look insane.
You've seen the Bondage with Danny Cass and Scotty Lago?
The thing is, I don't think the riders, they don't really like it that much.
Well, of course the riders don't, because if you knuckle it, your career's over.
You're dead, yeah.
Maybe I'm just saying I like it because
selfishly for us, you're just like, this looks the sickest.
That's what my, like, I don't want to say my generation. It's like I hit a couple of those bigger jumps, but like,
pretty sure there's a derelictica shot of Mikey Wren's doing a huge one.
Mikey has a shot in like this. I want to. Anyways, it's an old Burton video, and he has a cab 9 and a back 1, I believe. This massive tabletop. I don't know who he hit it with, like Mads Johnson and Cure or something like that, but it's like 80 feet, and it's just a big old deck. Not as big as the Mads front 3, like break the world record, but the shot is like, that shot right now, if I posted, for me, that shot looks so much better than anyone doing any contest trick right now, because you never really look like you're getting a lot of air when you do a switchback 16 on a jump that has a knuckle that's higher than the takeoff.
No, it's hard. Like it's
good for contest points, but not for video shots.
I secretly, whenever Charles builds a jump, I'm like, Charles, you add a little step down. But Charles does the same thing. He goes, oh yeah, the riders aren't gonna like it.
Yeah, and he gets it because he's building jumps that have changed snowboarding forever, and I think that those progressive jumps have their place. But if you're trying to film a video clip that an old head like me is gonna like, just get rid of the knuckle.
I think it's, you got to choose. You're like, hey, are we building this jump to have a session to like learn stuff on, and then we have just video of it, or are we like, this is specifically to look dope? Like, I'm not trying to do the hardest trick I've ever tried to do. I'm just trying to do like a sick front three. Because then if that's the case, I'm like, yeah, I would be like, yeah, let's give us the cheese wedge, the tombstone, if you will.
Tombstone all day. But I mean, that's my preference. And I'm allowed to say that. Have you ever filmed a clip of somebody getting absolutely buckled?
I think I filmed a lot of those, actually. It's kind of like my favorite kind of clip to film.
Psycho. Let me
No,
guess, you
not
love horror
actually.
movies too.
No, they scare me. I just, a good bail is nothing like getting just an insane bail on film. Obviously, you hope that the person comes out of it okay. And a lot of times, usually unscathed, like maybe it's sore for a couple of days, but I mean, there has been some, I've seen some devastating shit too, though, where you're like, that was bad.
What's a bad one?
That same Aspen Red Bull shoot where Craig almost landed on me. There was his hip and Takaru. This was like when Takaru kind of came out of nowhere. Like he had just gone on Red Bull. Like everyone was like, this guy's getting pretty good. And he tried to back three this hip, and the hip was kind of kinked out. So like no one else, like everyone else was like, this hip's kind of like gnarly. We're not really gonna ride it. And Takaru was just like, didn't give a fuck. And he's like, and he was doing it like sick. Like he had a couple where he went super high, like landed high on the hip and like almost got it. And then he just did one where he just drifted way too far out and like just missed the entire landing, but while also going huge. So it's like
going out into the flats or onto the deck?
Flats. Oof. So like going like, I don't know how high in the air, like whatever, like 20 feet in the air maybe. And then also, and then falling that, like double that because you missed the entire landing.
Yeah, we were at Super Park one year. I forget his name.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Another Japanese guy.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Super Park 2010, I want to say, or maybe 11, at Mammoth Mountain, and there was a hip session, and me and Griff were hitting it. And we only hit it for a bit, and then we got tapped out, and then you got your all-stars that are...
No, I know. I've never witnessed it, but I've heard of the legendary tap out.
Well, the tap out, it wasn't one of the... There's two different tap outs. There's a tap out on a hip where it's like, okay, you're fucking up. And then there's a tap out on like, okay, like we're having the best snowboarders in the world go right now, and you're not in that mix. And I didn't even take it as a diss. It was like, if you continue to ride the hip and go bigger and bigger and bigger throughout the day, you kind of, at one point, if you are a nobody and you made a name for yourself that day, you kind of get like, okay, you're allowed to do the later night session kind of thing. And I wasn't going any bigger. I was consistently going the same size, and I was just like kind of for me, it was just like, I've never got to ride a hip that good in my entire life. Yeah. And Bridges is insane about keeping the line good. And we stopped hitting it. And then you got your like Pat Moores and your maybe Travis and whoever else at that time, like that. Who's the rider that I was thinking I wanted to mention his name? So you had Pat and Scotty Lago. Scotty Lago was hitting it. And anyways, this other homie hits it and does like a 25 foot, like one of the biggest airs of the day, if not the biggest air. And it's a Super Park hip, so it's probably 35 something feet off the ground. So like a 50 to 55 foot air, similar to what you're talking about. And he collapsed his sternum, and like it was, dude, I get really fucked up in those situations. If I'm first on scene, I can deal with it because I'm like, you're first on scene, deal with it. But if I wasn't first on scene, I like had a full panic attack, like got out of a chair, had to get the fuck out of there because it was like, dude was just fucked.
Like he missed the landing as well?
Yeah, like there was nothing left. Or I saw Sketchy D, the guy who used to ride for Grenade, do a switchback one year on this like 100-foot jump that he was hitting with Heldor and Lonnie Koch and a couple people. There was only a couple people hitting. I think Sage was hitting it, and he overshot the whole thing on a switchback one and just died. Like it just died. Like fucked. And then when you see that shit live, you're like, oh.
No, see, yeah, you don't want to watch one where they're like actually like
the overshoots,
immobilized, you know, and like, but
Have you ever seen anybody overshoot? Not a hip, but a jump to complete flats on like a big trick like that?
Not to necessarily completely flat, but I mean another bad bail. Like I was with Tyler when he like blew his knee and he like just did I think he did a front 10 flat on this jump, and like, but this was one of those ones that it was like it was Park City. It was like the last jump in the course. So it just happened to have like a forever landing. But like, say if it was here and it was on like, I don't know, one of the gray line jumps, he would have landed like dead flat. Like this just happened to be like the landing just went forever. But he landed so low and the impact was so high that he ended up like blowing his knee on it. And it wasn't like a devastating fall or anything. He just like landed. It was just like such heavy impact, and then he like butt checked, and then that was it.
I mean, a butt check or a scooch out on those jumps when you're doing anything over a 5 or a 7. Like you look at Mark's when he like butt checks and his board scoops in front of him, and then it like jams and he breaks his leg that one year. Like, like those type of injuries are insane for him to kind of come over. Yeah, maybe let's dive into that. You hang out, you film with Mark a ton. Why is Mark so good? Why is he so good in those clutch situations? What makes him the best? Why is he so fucking good?
Dude, I don't know. I think you just kind of have to like have the like I think you just have to be wired that way. Like, I don't think a lot of people have it, and I don't think you can just like learn it. I think you just are like, I mean, you watch all those documentaries like the Michael Jordan one, like you learn that all these people that can consistently perform when they have to, they just are like, they just got something else going on. Like I don't know. And I don't know if the regular person can tap into it.
I agree. And then I also wonder if most people are they're not their biggest fan, they're their biggest critic, and they beat themselves mentally to a pulp. Lots of us do, myself included. I'm working on that. And because that, you can't achieve greatness. But when you see those Michael Jordan documentaries, like maybe at the very beginning they didn't believe, but at one point they actually believe in the story, the narrative that Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player in the world. And if you have a slip up or anything like that, you find a way to be like, okay, well, why am I not the greatest again? Because I should be the greatest and I could be the greatest. We're like people like myself that I would say are like average, or if you put the energy into something, you can become pretty good at something, but maybe not the greatest. But I also, similar to you saying that one time when you were really young and you were doing the back 9 and you're like, oh, it's time for me to wrap up. I'm 16. I'm not that good. It's like, I kind of was the same thing. Like I was like, oh, I'm only going to get to this kind of ceiling. Where like, I think that Mark was a believer that he's like, could be one of the best in the world. And if you don't believe that story, it just won't ever happen.
I think deep down, yeah, for sure. He's got to have some sort of like, there's got to be some party that's just like, I'm doing this. And I think he just has this drive and determination that a lot of people don't have. And like a lot of people like can't have, you know what I mean? It's just like, he just has another gear he can like get into.
Yeah, another gear.
It's another gear.
Could you buy that gear one day? How much to pay for the Mark Mick gear? I mean, that guy's come over some insane injuries. You've lived with Mark for a long time. Have you ever lived with him through one of those insane injuries?
I actually haven't. I was there though in LA when he broke his leg.
Oh,
which was pretty gnarly.
Really gnarly.
I was living at Craig's house actually when he hit the tree. That was an intense. Like Craig just came home and I was like, dude, how was it? And he was like all flustered. And he was like, I gotta go to Vancouver. I was like, why? He's like, I go to the hospital. I was like, Mark ran into a tree, and then he was gone. And I was like, is it good? And he's like, Craig's just, I don't know. Like, I gotta go. And then like, and then you're kind of sitting there. I was literally just in the living room watching TV. Then like that, it was like a 15-second interaction, and I was just like, what the fuck is happening? This
and that's
is
his brother.
Yeah, it was yeah. Like I felt crazy. He was obviously like,
How does Mark handle winning and how does he handle losing?
I think he handles winning very gracefully, and I think losing, I don't think he ever really shows it, but like he definitely like he doesn't like to lose, you know, like as anyone, if you're like, which goes to why he's like so good at winning those. I think he just has this competitiveness that like most people don't have. You kind of have to have that, you know, that fire.
When you see Mark right now and his skill set, one of the best snowboarders, if not the best snowboarder in the world, and you see all these young Japanese, Chinese kids, I mean, people from all over the world, Europe, getting so good at single jumps, but nobody's really put together that slope style run as good as Mark. Do you think Mark has the ability in the next couple years to still remain dominant in his field? Or do you think that, like, you know, do you think he could still win the Olympics that's coming up? Because I know deep down inside that's got to be a burning desire for somebody. That's the final piece to me is Mark winning an Olympic gold. And he knows that deep down inside too. And I feel fucking bad for him because there is some arguments where it's like, fuck, he kind of should have one.
I think, I think the last Olympics, I think he kind of deserved actually that, like, you know, and not trying to be biased. Like, as I said, we talked about touch on the rail thing. But I mean, I think even in the last couple of years, that's kind of been like what's, you know, where he has the advantage, that he can kind of link all the tricks together. Where, I mean, we've been seeing, I feel like we've been seeing it for the last couple of years. There's been some kids that like can come out in the big air and like do insane stuff, but then it's just like, they just don't really make it happen when it comes to a full run.
There's so many people like that.
I mean, Taiga it's been like 3 years now where he did all 418s. In Sauce Fe, he did all 418s, and I was like, this is the scariest thing I've ever seen. And then he like still didn't really like podium a slope style. I think he had won one recently, but like, you know, it like he didn't have this huge blow up that everyone thought he was gonna have, because it's like it still comes to like when you're trying to link all them together, it's pretty hard to do.
Slope style will be tough. I feel like maybe Mark's dominance in the big air can dissipate, but like I'm like not saying that he doesn't have. Clearly, he has the ability to do whatever he wants. There's a small part of me that actually wants him to just, you know, maybe win another couple golds or whatever. But for me, being such a fan of his snowboarding and wanting to have the best life possible, I would love to see him just the Craig Kelly chapter, go film in the mountains. I don't know if he ever will, though, because he's got that competitive nature that's burning in desire, and he might just try to continue on like a Tiger Woods who's still competing.
Totally, yeah. It's only something he can answer.
Touche. Moving on here. Okay, because you're a filmmaker and a filmer, you've never really made, I would say, your like feature film, the Russell Chai movie. Do you want to make a full-length film one day that you're kind of the visionary behind it, the main filmer, producer, etc.? Is that a goal of yours, or do you not have that desire and you are happy just filming? No,
I think that like, yeah, it is funny doing this long. I've like never, I mean, I've made like a Red Bull-ish movie thing that was like for like a 3-episode documentary they did, where I just took all the snowboard footage and kind of like made like a mini movie thing out of it. I've done like Radical Sabbatical, so it was like all like the iPhone footage from Danny's from ARC. That turned into like a funny thing, but like never just like a straight up like movie, I guess. And it'd be fun to do one of those one days. I don't know, just like I feel like so many of the people that I film with are still so heavily in the contest world, and like if I was to do something, I'd want to do with like that crew.
Yeah, I mean
I also can't sled.
Do you want to wrap your head around sledding? Like, what's your vibe on sledding? Are you like, when you're out there, you're like, fuck, this is a blast, or you're like, damn, this is hella stressful?
It's kind of both. I mean, the handful of times I have gone, we've always kept it pretty close to on the trail, so like never gone veered too far off of it. So it's like I've kind of been able to make it around because it's like we're not side hilling anything crazy or anything like that. And I do like it. It is super fun. It's just like I think if you get the sled and are doing that, you're like you kind of got to be the backcountry. You kind of got to commit to the backcountry thing. Cause that's just like a lot to get a truck and a sled. It's like if you're just gonna get that and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna film the backcountry like a couple times. Doesn't really make any sense, you know.
I kind of like that you've dabbled in the backcountry and you've dabbled with the right people, and then you do it again and you do it again, and then eventually you'll feel more and more comfortable. And if it's something that's calling you, then you'll just do it. But I feel like you don't have to necessarily do the like, I'm gonna drop in and be a truck sled film and just make a movie next year. Like, I feel like you have enough on the go where you can keep dipping your toe in that pond. If you like that pond, then you can dive into that pond, but you don't need to dive into if you don't want to.
My thing is if I'm gonna commit and dive in, then I'm switching, you know. Then I'm like my whole season's
Russell
the
Chai,
backcountry
the
guy.
backcountry filmer, kind of sounds dope.
But I do like kind of filming the streets too. I've only really actually gone to do like 2 street trips really in my life, but I do like. I feel like I can relate more to that world.
You like the steel.
That's just kind of my. I'm bet. You know, if I'm talking about what I know, like
you
the
stay
videos
at the
I
Westin when you're done. Go for a nice
But
bottle
the
of
videos
wine.
I grew up on are like Video Grass and like, you know, a lot of street movies with the steel.
Okay, so let's talk about the steel. You filmed a couple clips in the steel. What are some of your favorite clips that you filmed in the steel, or a favorite?
A favorite clip is the Jordan Morris in Quebec City, I think. Front board on like a C rail, triple kink C rail, or whatever kind of kink you want to call it.
You call it a triple? You
I
called
do
it a triple.
I do what Grenier says about is you just count the downs because then what are you supposed to call that at that point?
Because people are like, count the bends, because that's the kink.
I know, but once you get past the down flat down, we're into some terms here that you tell me what that, you don't even know what that is.
Yes, Russ.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, for simplicity, no one is. If we just say the triple kink, no one is confused.
From now on, we're putting a stamp on this, and it's ending. It's a Russell Chai, Super Coo Russ approved. That we count the downs on a kink now, and that's how many kinks it is, and we're done.
Well, okay,
it's done.
What I implore is
That's a
someone
triple.
go find a let's call it the quad kink. There's 4 downs. Someone in the comments tell me what that is. If you want to be counting the kinks, and go use that in real life, everyone's gonna be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Quadruple and then quintuplet kink. Like, it's gonna sound so annoying.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And
If you want to be the nerd to go do that, go do that. But everyone's gonna call you a nerd. That's what I think. Whenever someone comes in here and gets all like really riled up about the terms, I'm like, it's just fucking. Are you gonna hit it? If you're not gonna hit it, I don't care.
my thing is, I've always called, like, let's say if we're hitting a down, flat, down, I've always called that a kink. You know, that's a kink.
I think down, flat, down.
A down, flat, down. It's like a down rail, flat, down.
Mm-hmm.
If that's in a park, I'll typically be like, look at that kink or look at that down, flat, down. I don't call that a double kink.
I think I've called it a double kink before. But this is the thing. Even if you call it a kink and we're looking at that direction, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and Robin said this the other day because I got in my head because I used the word funner, and then I apologized because like, oh, that's not a word. He's like, actually, a word is something that you use to describe something, and if people can understand the word you're using to describe something, therefore it's a word. And then I was like, touche, motherfuckers. Funner is also a word.
Well, this is the thing. I think rarely we're in a scenario where you refer to a kinked rail and people are like, oh man, but is he talking about that one or this one or you know what I mean? We kind of know what you're talking about.
I don't know anymore. Now I've been snowboarding my whole life, and I don't know what a double kink is or a triple kink, and I don't care anymore.
Yeah, but have we ever gone a scenario where we're talking about a rail in the park or like wherever, and
Never.
someone's like, oh
Only
Wait,
on the
are
internet.
you talking about the one
Only
at the
on the
top
internet.
or the bottom? And you're like, no, but the one we're fucking looking at right
Yeah,
there. You know
totally.
what I mean? Like, it's never been an issue.
Yeah, there's some nerds that are pissed for sure, but it is what it is. I actually don't know the Super Cool Russ dynamic. That's your thing. I didn't put airtime approved. I said Super Cool Russ approved.
I didn't think that was an argument. I didn't think that was an argument until it became an argument online. Then I was like, oh, this is the thing.
So being a filmmaker, being somebody that's a creative, and I think there's a lot of people that when I'm speaking for the broader audience, when you think of someone like yourself that travels around and films with your camera and your iPhone and you go film these park edits, and a lot of those edits are backed by certain companies that like a little bit more of a polished look, I would say. And there's a certain appeal to those and a certain aesthetic. And there's definitely a market for that. But what I've realized from watching some of your videos online, especially that Super 8 film that you made that went completely viral, if you type in Russell Chai on YouTube and you go to his Super 8 reel from 2019, it's a 3-minute video. It's actually an incredible short film if you like watching films. I thought that was a masterpiece. The attention to detail in all of those shots, really, I've seen it before when that originally came out or maybe in 2020, and I remember being like, damn, that's a really good film. I rewatched it now, and being somebody who really likes 16, Super 8, 35 millimeter film, I like that look. And there's a reason why I do, because I was born around that genre, and we had that stuff laying around my house. So I was always like, my dad always had film photos. So it's like, there's something about film burn and the way that there's only so much of it and there's a finite supply. And so you're not just shooting things at random, like on an iPhone. There's actually there's purpose behind everything. And you're filming people's feet move and people laughing and people, bike riding or whatever and having all this skateboarding, but there's like an intent behind all the shots. And I was like, damn, like, you really have an eye for editing that I think is beyond what has been showcased in your films in snowboarding. Like, I was like, you could make like a really good like film in something else, or you could make a really good airtime movie. How much we talking?
Well,
it's a masterpiece. And if you want to watch it, it's on YouTube. Russell Chai, 2019. Super 8 film, masterpiece.
I think for that one, so that was like one that was just like fully not snowboard related. I had just gotten that Super 8 camera that like a couple months prior to that. And then I kind of just was like, oh, I'm just going to bring this around with me for the summer. So I pretty much just had a backpack with that with me at all times, all summer, like everywhere I went. We happen to also have like a super nice summer around here. So every day was just like a super beautiful day. And then, yeah, I think I only had like 4 rolls. So I just feel like anytime I was going to shoot something, you like really thought it out of like, okay, like I got to make sure this is like worth it or like a good moment, or like I'm not just going to like, spray and pray everywhere. Whereas I feel like for snowboard stuff, you're just kind of, that's just you. I mean, I think it's too, a lot of the snowboard stuff I'm doing, I'm going to contests, I'm going to like events, like the whole thing is just like filming everything. And I think you don't, especially the contest ones, like you don't have time to like plan super nice shots. It's just like you're just trying to get stuff when it's happening. Versus that's a different thing. It's like that was also just funny because it wasn't for like any. It was just because I just got a camera. It's like, oh, I gotta use this thing or like try it out. And I got all the footage back and I was like, this is actually like kind of sick footage, or like I like the footage. So
it's super good.
I actually initially had an idea for it. It was going to be like just super like emo song. And then I did it. And then I was like, that doesn't work. Everyone's like smiling, having a good time.
Yeah, I think, you picked the right music too. That's the reason why it was like, I mentioned it as a film because the editing, the filming, the audio, everything like made it worked. And I thought it was really good. And right now in snowboarding, I personally feel like we've never had so many really good filmmakers in snowboarding. If you take a second to think about it, the list is just endless. I'm not gonna open that gate up because I'm curious to know: are there any filmmakers that you've been really enjoying what they've been putting out? Do you have a handful of people that you're into, or one in particular?
I mean, Hayden Wrench has always made, he did Beacon, and by being before Beacon, there's like a lot of stuff I feel like you would argue is like amazing that Hayden's done. Colt Feldman has done a lot of what is it? Blender or Bender, whichever one you want to. What else did he do recently? He's done like 3 things that are back to back that were all sick.
Atlas, and then
I don't know. A lot of people are doing great work out there.
Yeah, like a lot of people, and
that's what I mean. Yeah, there's so many good projects these days.
Yeah, and I almost feel like those filmmakers, like you got like local people, you got Leyland and Rusty and Gabe filming in this like local community, and then you have legends that made projects with Volcom and stuff like that. Like Jake Price is still making movies, and Harry Hagen and Tanner doing all the van stuff has been incredible, and Colton and Jake Durham, absolutely incredible stuff. Sean Lucy, incredible stuff.
Yeah.
Coulter Hurd with the local kind of mountain stuff. The list kind of goes on and on and on, but there's just so many filmmakers now that I'm like, damn, there's a lot of people who just get it right now. And it's almost like you want to get all these people the best writers because they're all qualified to make a good film. And I would throw you in that mix now. And the funny thing is that I think that like I think that you would do really well with making your own film. I think it would be cool. I hope that you take that shot one day because I think it would be rad.
I'd love to try it one day. It's just like this. I think the stars gotta align on like a, I think a lot of so many of the people that I want to film with are like kind of are like also committed to like doing well in the contest scene. I don't have the backcountry skill to do like if I was gonna make something, it would be more along the lines of like probably more along the lines of a street film. Yeah,
and you kind of like flying, to mini league games in Saskatchewan on a private jet.
Oh, I actually never finished the Jordan Morris front board story.
Oh shit! Yeah,
we got distracted on the Mount of Kinks
debate. I should have bounced back there.
What made that clip kind of like memorable is that there was two. It was me and then Sam Sosnowski who he did some stuff with. He was doing some stuff with DC. I don't know if he's still there with them. I think he's doing some stuff with Quick now.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
I think he did that last project with Quick.
But Sam's camera just shut off right when Jordan was dropping in. So like my shot's like a little tighter, like not super tight, but like I was supposed to be the kind of like tighter guy, and he was just like the bit wider, like more stock, like A angle. And then right as Jordan's like, yeah, like 3, like drop in, he's beside me. And he's like, fuck, my camera just turned off. And then I remember just him kind of being like, oh, whatever, like it's not like he's gonna land this right now. And then he landed it. And then I was like, oh, like, you know what I mean? I was like, I think I got that, but I was like,
should be double angle.
I would have probably backed out a little bit more. I don't know. It just was more like, it was one of those things where I was like, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah. Do you feel like you filmed it too tight?
No, I think it still works fine, but if it were in a perfect world, there would be a slightly wider shot of capturing the whole thing because mine was a bit. But I mean, I could have gone even tighter. Those shots were like just on the feet, which I'm glad I like didn't do. But it was more just one of those funny things where in my head I was like, this is kind of an insane rail. I was like, it's
the rail. So I've been to that rail. I tried to switch board slide it quickly, and Anto, I believe, tried to front board it and never got it. And then I think he got bodied or something. He's done some tricks around that thing. Maybe I was trying to lip slide it the year after, and Anto already switch board slid it. I forget. But I did hit that rail one time with Anto. It goes right onto a street. Like, it's pretty. If there's cars parked at the.
Oh, it's right on the street. There's also just like a sign or like a pole in the landing.
Yeah, that's par for the course for a rail feature. What kind of software are you editing? Kind of one-word answer these days. Premiere Pro, what are you using?
Premiere.
Nice. Take that, Demo. He's like, I'm trying to use whatever that new one called is. DaVinci. I was like, dude, just use Premiere.
I think so. I actually think DaVinci and like Final Cut are more like optimized for like if you're using a Mac.
Yeah.
Premiere is better now that Macs have the new like hardware in them. But
the new update was sick on Premiere. I like it.
My thing is that I run into where everyone's like, oh, I use this and use that. But I'm like, I still run into scenarios where like, if we're doing a group thing, we can kind of share projects and we're all using the same platform, which is Premiere, you know? So that's where I'm kind of like, I don't know if I'll like ever really switch unless like collectively everyone started switching.
Yeah, that's the thing is if I want Derek to start working for me, I want us to have the same editing software. But I would like to say to anyone who's listened along this whole journey, thank you for tuning in. Russ, you have, without a doubt, carved out a very unique and maybe the first of its kind career, and I mean a very successful one at that, and probably a pretty fulfilling one as somebody who, you know, was once riding at COP, separating his shoulder, trying to learn a back nine, who ended up traveling the whole world with the greatest snowboarders who've ever rode, taking PJs and stuff with Mark Mick. Good times. Do you have any advice for others who, in this day and age, I feel like everybody is trying to carve out their own path? You got any advice for those people?
I think back to where we were touching on before is like, make yourself known, like go try and chase these opportunities, but just don't be too weird.
I agree, man. And you know what? There's something about, because snowboarding attracts a lot of like creative and just unique individuals. Every once in a while you get an oddball who's not fitting in with the oddballs, which is surprising because snowboarding's all oddballs. But like, there's always somebody who's just, I like to look at it, they're not reading the room at all.
See, that's the thing.
You know what I mean?
I don't think it's even so much of the filming or the photos, you know, whatever be in media you're doing in snowboarding. It's like, the fact of the matter is you gotta do trips, you gotta hang out with, you gotta be on a trip with these people. So if the riders don't like get along with you or they're just like weirded out by you, it's like it's so much more about being able to like hang out and become friends with them. You know, not saying that I'm trying to tell people like go fake being friends with these people, but it's like if you can, you know, mesh with everyone, that's so much more important, I think, than being the best at filming or editing or photos or whatever it may be.
Yeah, and sometimes in life you should be friends with people that are outside of your friend group, or not be friends, but like it's important to look past what's inside of your home. You know what I mean? Like open up a couple doors and see what's else that's going on in the world. If you don't like it, you can close that door. You know, if a bunch of people are doing things that you aspire to do, go hang out with them. If in a couple of weeks you're like, these people are fucking whack. Yeah, they have everything I want and they're doing everything I want, but I don't enjoy their company. Then leave that group and find a different way to get into that. And if there's no other way in because they're that big of gatekeepers, then fuck that thing that they got going on anyway. But you can't just hang out with like the same group of friends from day one if you want something different for yourself. If you want what your day one homies still have, then stay there forever. But most likely you kind of want to see, you know, what else the world has to offer. So I would say if you
gotta see what's out there.
Totally. Like you want to, the grass isn't greener, I want to say, but it's important to step out of your comfort zone.
You gotta step out of your comfort zone while not being too weird.
Back to not being too fucking weird. Super Coo Russ wants everybody to know, stop being so fucking weird. Hell yeah, brother. Thanks for coming on the show. We got 10 bullet points presented by Skull Candy. Here's that second gift you can take right over there. A pair of those rail headphones. They're wireless. They're great. And there's no better product on the market. And they support snowboarding, skateboarding, all the good things. So big shout outs to them. And now we have 10 quick questions presented by Skull Candy. All right. Who's got the best style currently and back in the day?
Best style. I think I have. I would say like Seve de Bucks in that category. I put like Ben Ferg in there as like an aggressor kind of style. A Mikkel Bang. A Jed on the rails. You know, I can't choose just one.
These are good picks.
You gotta have a couple for different.
I love how everybody takes these questions and they use it like open to interpretation, and they kind of just fucking throw some paint at the wall because it's always different. I love it. That was a great start.
And
Keep
then
going.
I don't want to say the classic like the Terrier and everything because that's kind of what everyone kind of goes with. Let's throw a curveball in here. I like the let's go with like a Stevie Bell
Sick,
from
dude.
Form That, you know.
Yeah, dude, I like that.
Open jacket. I think he had a couple open jacket clips.
I really liked Stevie Bell when I think it was One Love. That's when he like came on the scene. And I don't think a lot of people know this about Stevie Bell. I mean, some people do. But he only had filmed like for two years before Form That. And I think he'd only been riding for 4 years before he filmed that part. I think he had only started snowboarding 4 years. Cream's really good friends with him, and he like just started snowboarding.
Dude, didn't who also Travis Kennedy, like skateboarder, had a similar scenario where I think he like didn't really skateboard for very long, and then just was like super good at it, and then filmed like one of the sickest parts.
Like Terry Kennedy, the pro skater.
Sorry, Terry Kennedy.
Yeah,
I'm thinking isn't
Travis Kennedy's this pro snowboarder?
Yeah, no, Terry Kennedy.
Terry Kennedy's.
That's what I'm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Favorite place you've ever traveled?
Ooh. For snowboarding?
Anywhere, man.
Probably Locks or like any, just going to Europe to go snowboarding is a fun experience, in my opinion. I went on a recent trip to London too, just as a vacation. And I had actually, that might be kind of cliche, but it was actually like kind of super sick. It was like the best time ever.
I always say a good vacation comes with, if you've never been there, a good vacation comes with meeting and bumping into the right people while you're there. It's kind of like luck, you know what I mean? If you bump into like, you go on a vacation and you go to a restaurant and you have a cool server and then you're talking to the bartender and they're cool and you get in a cab and the cab driver's dope, like your experience just keeps compounding into this like great trip where if you go somewhere and everybody you get is kind of a lemon, which can happen because there's dicks everywhere, your trip
You want to go somewhere where
significantly.
everyone is dope. It's basically what.
That's non-existent. If you have 10 people in a room, one of them aren't dope. If you have 1 million people in the room, it's the same odds. That's why there's more shitty people in the U.S., but there's still a ton of shitty people in Canada.
This is true.
Career highlight.
Ooh. Career highlight. Shooting with Travis on that Jackson River shoot we did.
Oh, with like Blake and...
Yeah, I don't think the video exists anymore because I actually think that it was super illegal what we did. Because we're on a protected part of the
Travis
national
Rice
park.
is doing his thing. What was that called again?
It was called Snake Milkers.
Snake Milkers.
It was an insane name. We couldn't. So what happened is like no one could sponsor it because everyone realized that you needed permits or something, and it was like illegal. So then what they did is I think they just made a website and just put the video on a website that they made to host the video.
And it still got taken down.
I don't think it's up there. I mean, someone can check. I don't think it's up there.
I will check.
But yeah, that was when he thought my name was Rusty for an entire week.
Legend.
And then realized after that is not Rusty.
I mean, I feel bad for anyone who knows Travis Rice because everybody who thinks they know Travis Rice might not know Travis Rice. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. And
because he knows everybody.
Yeah, and
he walks in anywhere, everyone shakes his hand.
Totally.
All introduce themselves to him, and everybody's like, "No, we had a moment." It's like, dude, it's like hanging out with Mark Mcmorris. Like, it is. It's like it's too crazy.
I think just like with the filming of Travis thing, though, it's also just like getting to meet people that at one point you were like, these are the guys, these are like my idols. Like meeting Eddie Wall. I met Eddie Wall like, in the last like couple of years. Even like hanging out with Danny. Me and Danny are buddies now. I would have never thought that when I was a kid.
That was dope. Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, they're Eddie Wald, Danny Davis. Shout outs to both of them. Great people.
But just like that feeling of like you're a kid, you know, whatever, you see videos of these people, whatever, and then next thing you know, you're like kind of in that world, and like now you're meeting them and becoming friends and stuff, and it's just something you wouldn't think of when you're younger.
Yeah, totally. And when you're younger, you would navigate that situation a lot different than when you're older, and you get to realize that everybody is just a human. And you know
that is the thing, because sometimes I'm fanning out when I meet people, but then I'm so nervous that I think I actually act kind of like a dick. Not actually a dick, I just don't say anything, and then maybe they think I'm cool guying them, but then maybe they, you know, what it has, they're like, I need to try and make this guy maybe like me. I don't know if this is true. I just know that when I've met people and I like barely said a word, and I was like, fuck, I should have been like, dude, you're the sickest person ever, but I like didn't. I was so fucking nervous.
Who are you most starstruck by?
I met Harrison Gordon actually in Mammoth, and Harrison, he was actually one of my favorite snowboarders growing up. I don't know what it was. He did sick board slides, and he came up and he was like, dude, like, Harrison, it's nice to meet you, like, big fan. And I was like, but this is the same thing. I didn't know what to say. I kind of just didn't say anything. I was like, oh, dude, Russell, like, nice to meet you. And then I rode away, and I was like, I should have been like, dude, I'm a huge fan of you. But I didn't know what. I froze.
That was dope. Shout out to Harrison, dude. That's my dog. Harrison Gordon's the shit. Who's the most underrated?
I want to say like a Matteo Massidi or like a Jaden Chomlak. But I think Jaden's got some insane footage that's going to come out this year.
Well, he did a full year with Arthur.
That's what I mean. So I think Jaden's going to have his time. I think Matteo needs I would love to see someone give Matteo an opportunity to do that.
Me too. I think that it'll happen.
I think it's going the right direction. I feel like you're missing out if you're not, you know.
Yeah, Matteo, Jaden, those are really, really good picks. And like, if you're a team manager, if you have money, those are the two kids to hit up. Like, if I was a team manager, those are the two kids I would put on my team right now. No questions asked. Rippers. What keeps you up at night?
You know, kind of everything these days. I'm 32 and I live in a basement suite.
Mark Mcmorris' basement suite.
I know people think I'm rich because of it, but I'm not, and I just roll around all night. Just so bummed on myself.
Everybody who's listening to this right now can totally relate. That's the thing, brother. You ain't in it alone. Even the person that owns the house, even the individual who owns that room that you're in is rolling in the upstairs suite above you thinking the same fucking thing. What am I doing with my life? You're happy. You're healthy. Life is good, man. Keep it going. Favorite steel boarder?
Ooh.
I think you kind of said Jed. So.
I did say Jed, but I mean, I would put Tommy in there as well, and like Jake.
Tommy, Jed, Jake. That's classic. And some people move around with Forrest, Lewiff, Keegan, E-Man. Those are some other ones I would say. JP.
You're just going crazy.
Joe
everything.
Sexton.
Yeah.
There's.
I mean, Lewiff is definitely, yeah. I mean, Lewiff is definitely a legend too. He's.
But Lewiff has branched off from just like a rail rider to this like hybrid snowboarder that can do everything. So when people, sorry, not
That's
when
kinda,
people.
No, you're kind of right though. I feel like in the last couple of years, it's like he's had less of just a heavy rail.
Yeah, totally.
You know,
I don't think of him as just a rail rider anymore. I think of him as like an ATV.
I think if you asked me 5-6 years ago, he would have been like, that would have been one of the first people I would say though.
One area of your life you would like to work on? Sounds like don't beat yourself to a pulp while you're laying on your bed.
Yeah, that's a good area.
Here, brother. We're in it together. Do you have an area you'd like to work on? No? Okay, all right.
No, I don't know. Sometimes maybe being like more proactive with certain things, or just like, I don't know. It's pretty easy living in Whistler to like have your, I don't know, your routine or your slumps. I don't know where you could be when you know that feeling where like I should probably be doing all this stuff, and you just don't do it, and then you're like wake up next day, you're like, I'm such a piece of shit.
Oh, dude, you're telling me.
And then you can't sleep at night because you're in bed and you're like, I didn't do that today.
And the to-do list only gets longer. And
the longer it compounds, the more crippling it gets.
Yeah, and the anxiety of that one day gets so bad that you can't even do anything on the list because it gives you so much anxiety to open up your to-do list.
And then you just get wasted. And then you're like, and then it makes it so much worse because then you wake up, you're hungover, you haven't done it, it's compounding, and then it takes you a day to recover. So you've actually wasted 2 days, and it spirals even more.
Yeah, and the older you get, the one day of being hungover turns into two, turns into me. I would say, if I have a big party night, like I went home for my wedding, and just to have a celebration in my parents' backyard, and me and a couple old buddies got together and we just gave her fucking shit, and I was up till 5:30 in the morning. Dude, I was slow for like 4 days.
I can imagine. Yeah, that wedding sounded. I'm sorry I couldn't make it, by the way.
Yeah, it would have been nice. Whatever, man.
It would be nice if you invited me, but
I'm lost in the mail, baby. Who's the best follow cam filmer?
In this day and age, I think I'd give it to Lorenzo. Like Spenny, I think I would say pioneered, really getting the GoPro. Because before Spenny, everyone was still on the just hold a normal camera. And Spenny kind of like really proved to everyone that like the GoPro was kind of like the way to go. But in most recent years, I don't think Spenny's even really been fall cam that much. I think Lorenzo's kind of been the guy doing it, and I think he's doing a really good job.
Good shout outs. All right, final question for Russell Chai, aka Super Cool Russ. Who is the GOAT?
This is gonna be a hard one. Well, who's the GOAT for you?
Well, if you want your rent to go down, I'd say Mark Mick, but who's the GOAT for me? I really like Dano Pendergrass's take on this. Like in his time, I don't know, Craig, Terrier, Noah. And then that opens a can of worms, and you're like, okay, well, maybe Jeff Brushy, and then you're like,
see, this is the problem because you're like,
there's certain goats for certain eras.
There's a GOAT per era, and that early era, I'm not the most versed in.
So then your GOAT would be in your era, which it sounds like it would roughly be around Video Gangs to Videograss. So then break that down. Whoever was the most inspirational individual during that time, being the greatest of all time to you.
Honestly, now that we're talking about it, honestly, might be like a Lewif.
That's a great pick.
Because I feel like he kind of just did. I think he also just was doing. Him and Jed and like a couple of select people are the people who are doing the tricks where you're like, that was proper. Like there was people in the streets doing everything, and you're like, hey, like that's sick for the time, and then they kind of like took it to the extra level where it's like everything's 90 to perfectly 90, everything's pressed, everything's.
Two worlds collided.
Yeah, it's two worlds collided, yeah.
Because you had the French Canadians that were precise and perfect, but then you had a little bit of pizzazz added from other places because it was a bit too robotic, I feel like, at the very beginning, and then all of those individuals kind of like got a lot more pizzazz over the years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Lewif snowboarding right now has only gotten better every year. Ben Bullock's snowboarding every year has gotten so much better. If people like Will, Alex Canten, Max B, Reno B, Yan, so many of those French Canadians, if they would have kept going, like who knows how crazy their snowboarding would look like right now. Anto, like Dude, I was talking to Craig before I did it recorded. Didn't Anto almost die or something like that when you guys were filming together? I feel like
He did a lot of stuff where he could have died. I remember that. You know, the spot needed to have like some sort of element of like spikes where you can impale yourself on, or a 2-story break your legs kind of drop. That's what I remember filming with Anto. I was kind of like, everything we hit here, it's just you have to make it to the other side or else you're gonna die. Because you're going to get impaled or fall off a roof.
Yeah, he was a different fucking beast. I filmed with him for years. Nicest, best
Did
human.
you film with Anto for?
I filmed with Anto for like 3 years.
Oh, yeah, the Man Boys year, yeah.
Yeah,
And then...
the DC Must Be Nice year.
Oh, okay.
Which I didn't get any footage in because I was just still in my like young, stony, didn't take it serious phase where I was just partying in Whistler. And I did not take that opportunity and try very hard, which I should have done. But I am where I am right now, and, you know, it is what it is, and we'll stare at the roof together, and life will continue to be amazing because we have taste buds, and being able to hear and see and walk is dope. So we're lucky, man. We got our senses. Life's good. We're still living. Thanks for coming on, Russ. Any kind of final words of wisdom or any shout outs?
You know, thanks for having me on here. And yeah, it was a pleasure. It was a fun time.
All right. Russ wants to shout out everybody who's ever gave him an opportunity. Continue to give him opportunities. Continue to support the airtime through our Patreon. Thank you for supporting the Patreon. If you already do that, we got merch on the website. We're only gonna get we're only gonna keep growing. Cheers.
Is that it? Should we go get some food now or something? Or?
That's exactly what we should do.